Chapter 1421. Luo Bingshan's jade-like face was cold as she looked ahead. Then she was stunned and a trace of shock appeared on her face. Because the one who sent her flying was actually the left Green Dragon envoy. It was the person who was almost split in half by her. What? How is this possible? With such a heavy injury he can't even exert much combat strength? But now the other party was full of energy, and his aura was even more powerful than before. What's going on? Not only was Luo Bingshan confused, but everyone was also confused. They knew that there must have been an unexpected change because the left Green Dragon envoy had already changed his appearance. His body, which had been split into two, had begun to heal at this moment. Countless black flames danced between his wounds. Not only that, but there were also black lines that appeared on his body. They were densely packed and looked very mysterious. In his eye sockets, there were two balls of black flames dancing. Every time they jumped, they released an extremely powerful aura. Luo Bingshan observed carefully and said coldly, "You're not the person from before." She realized that although this person's body was the same as before, his aura and soul were different. I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable. You can actually see that I'm a clone." A cold voice came from the left Green Dragon envoy. Hearing this voice, the surrounding Black Dragon sect martial artists were all in an uproar. What? That's the sect leader's voice. Sect leader, it's the sect leader. The sect leader has made his move. Everyone was extremely excited as they looked at the left Green Dragon envoy in front of them. They knew that the sect leader was a true king, so as long as he made his move, he could kill everyone. The sect leader of the Black Dragon sect? This is impossible. How can a king's aura be so weak? Luo Bingshan frowned. What do you know? This is just a clone of mine. Although it's just a clone, it's not something you can fight against. I advise you to kneel down obediently and surrender. Maybe I can let you go and take you as a slave. Otherwise, you'll all die without a burial place. It's just a clone? Luo Bingshan frowned. She didn't expect a king to be so powerful. Just a clone was enough to send her flying. But then she gritted her teeth and snorted coldly, "Don't be so arrogant. If your real body came, I naturally wouldn't be able to resist. But it's just a clone. Do you really think you can subdue me?" Luo Bingshan snorted coldly. Then he clenched his long saber and attacked quickly. Looks like you still don't understand the strength of a king. All right, I'll let you experience it today. The left Green Dragon envoy sneered. The black light in his eyes suddenly bloomed, and the black lines on his body also shone with a jet black light. She looked extremely ferocious. Then she let out a roar and charged forward. For a moment, the two of them were locked in battle. Terrifying energy surged as everyone watched nervously. At this moment, the carefree right emissary who had been severely injured, suddenly screamed. A ferocious expression appeared on his face. Black veins began to appear all over his body, starting from the back of his neck and spreading all over his body. "Sect leader, spare my life. Spare me." The carefree right emissary knelt in the air and shouted with great difficulty. But no one paid any attention to him. Not only did the black veins on his body not weaken, they spread even faster and covered his entire body in an instant. In the end, the carefree right emissary screamed. His eyes lost their luster and he froze in the air like a statue. But soon, two balls of black flames appeared in his eyes. Then he stood up again. Black veins appeared all over his body, shining with a jet black light. Two balls of black flames danced in his eyes, and he looked extremely cold. Trash. It's your honor to have my clone here. A deep and cold voice came from the carefree right emissary. Obviously, this was the other clone of the Black Dragon sect leader. The two clones were going to take down the spiritual boat in front of them. The carefree right emissary looked around coldly. Then he stared at Luo Bingshan in front of him. A cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Then he turned into a bolt of black lightning and charged forward. The battle in front of him was extremely intense. Luo Bingshan held his long saber and looked like a killing god. His saber radiance was like water. It was extremely cold and released a terrifying aura. Every saber gleam was like a Milky Way as it swept through the surroundings. On the other side, the Green Dragon left emissary was even more berserk. He was no longer the Green Dragon from before. Instead, he was the clone of the Black Dragon sect leader. Boundless black flames spread all over his body, releasing a scorching aura. Every strike of his terrifying black palm could pierce through the void. I admit that you're very strong and can beat most half-step kings. But against me you have no chance of winning. Black Dragon Palm, die for me. The green dragon left emissary laughed nastily. The black veins on his palm shone brightly. He waved his palm, and a black flood dragon flew out of his palm and roared as it charged forward. Soon it turned into a dragon-shaped palm. The palm directly shattered all the saber radiances in front of him. The terrifying palm was like a black demonic mountain, pressing down on Luo Bingshan. The palm had not yet arrived, but the scorching aura still made Luo Bingshan's black robe flutter. Luo Bingshan even felt an extremely hot aura, as if it was going to melt her. With a shout, Luo Bingshan released all her spiritual power and struck out with the fourth move of the 8 Ocean Abyss Blades. The shocking saber radiance tore through the void, releasing a terrifying aura. However, at this moment, another cold aura rushed over from behind her left. It was the right emissary. He took advantage of Luo Bingshan's attack to launch a sneak attack. Not good. Feeling this killing intent, Luo Bingshan's heart beat wildly. The Lin family clansmen on the spirit boat cried out in alarm. However, the right and left emissaries revealed a sinister smile. In their eyes, the opponent was dead for sure. The surrounding Black Dragon sect martial artists cheered wildly. This was great. The demoness before them was finally going to be killed. The 2 clones of the Black Dragon sect leader charged toward Luo Bingshan, and it seemed like they were about to succeed. However, at this moment, a purple radiance descended from the sky and blocked the right emissary's path. This radiance was like a purple aura from the east, carrying boundless energy. It blocked the right emissary and resolved Luo Bingshan's crisis. Damn it! The right emissary roared crazily. He didn't expect such a good opportunity to kill to be blocked. This made him extremely furious. On the other hand, Luo Bingshan breathed a sigh of relief. She knew that Murong Qingqing had made her move. Sure enough, the purple cloud in the sky quickly transformed into a beautiful woman. This woman wore a purple dress and had a beautiful face. She was like a fairy, untainted by the mortal world. She was none other than Murong Qingqing. When Luo Binsen was in danger, she acted in time and blocked the right emissary. Another woman? Chapter 1422. This woman was dressed in a long purple dress. Her face was as beautiful as a fairy and she looked otherworldly. She was Murong Qingqing. When Luo Bingshan was in danger, she intervened and stopped the right emissary. Another woman? The right emissary was shocked. He did not expect another young woman to intervene. He thought for a long time but could not figure out who the woman in purple was. However, when he saw her peerless face, a vicious grin appeared on his face. I did not expect such a beauty to exist in this world. It just so happens that I'm still lacking a hierarch's wife. Just follow me back obediently. Don't worry. As long as you obey me, I will let your companions go. Otherwise, I will tear them into pieces. Oomph. Wishful thinking. Murong Qingqing snorted and her beautiful face was filled with coldness. In the next moment, a purple light gushed out from her body and spread out in all directions, forming a purple cloud. Between heaven and earth, countless purple lights surrounded her. It was as if a fairy had descended from the east. When the purple aura appeared, the scorching aura in the void weakened. I did not expect you to be so beautiful and powerful. But this is good. You are more suitable to be my wife. So you should obey me. The right emissary laughed sinisterly and rushed toward Murong Qingqing. On the other side, Green Dragon's Wuxia was fighting with Luo Bingshan again. Murong Qingqing snorted and took out the real Phoenix Imperial Jade Seal without hesitation. Then she infused the power of her bloodline into it. Buzz. Behind her, a purple phoenix shadow appeared. In the end, it formed 2 purple phoenix wings, wrapping around Murong Qingqing's body. The horrifying phoenix shadow also lingered around her. She waved her hand and a purple phoenix rushed out. It roared in the air and charged toward the right emissary. What a pure phoenix bloodline. The right emissary's pupils shrank and he was shocked. Then he became ecstatic again. Good. I did not expect you to have such a pure bloodline power. I cannot let you go. Roar. In the next moment, the carefree right emissary let out a long howl. Suddenly, a clap of thunder resounded through the heavens and earth. Around him, 8 black lightning companions appeared, descending along with him. Every single black lightning bolt could kill a half-step king, and that terrifying aura made everyone despair. 8 black thunderbolts surrounded the carefree right emissary and bombarded in all directions. This scene was too terrifying. Every single bolt of lightning could kill a half-step king. The surrounding Black Dragon sect martial practitioners, as well as the Lin family clansmen on the spirit boat in the distance, all revealed terrified expressions. In the face of this black lightning, they had no power to resist at all. Especially Old Master Lin and Second Uncle Lin. They were worried about the safety of Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan. Boom. A black thunderbolt shot out at a high speed towards Murong Qingqing, exploding right next to her. The terrifying lightning illuminated the surroundings, making it impossible for anyone to open their eyes. Murong Qingqing's expression also changed. She let out a shout and quickly used the cosmic battle armor to cover her entire body. At the same time, she crazily pushed the Phoenix Phantom behind her. Suddenly, the blue starry sky armor appeared and covered her entire body. Only her beautiful eyes could be seen. Not only that, the huge phoenix behind her spread its wings and enveloped Murong Qingqing. Boom. Murong Qingqing took the attack of the black lightning head-on and was immediately forced back. However, with the cosmic battle armor reducing the damage by 70% and the protection of the Phoenix Phantom, she did not suffer any injuries this time. Only the chi and blood in her body kept on rolling. What? She blocked it? The carefree right emissary was shocked. He did not expect the opponent to be able to block his black lightning attack. One had to know that this was a black lightning that could kill a half-step king. The opponent was only a 9th celestial layer girl. How could she block it? No, that blue armor is very strange. It seems to be able to reduce the power by more than half. The carefree right emissary's eyes were like lightning as he stared at the cosmic battle armor. Then a fiery light burst out from his eyes. Even I don't have such an armor. Where did this girl get it? I don't care. This treasure must be mine. Flames of greed appeared in his eyes. He had no choice. Even if he was the leader of the Black Dragon sect, he did not have such a thing. Even in the Sky Martial continent there were not many of them. Moreover, in the remote Tianan region, it was even more impossible to have one. Girl, hurry up and surrender. You can't resist it all. The carefree right emissary sneered again. Then he waved his hand. Suddenly, the few black lightning bolts around him surged rapidly like black dragons. Then the sky resounded with the sound of thunder. The terrifying thunder shook the heavens and the earth, causing the surrounding martial artists to tremble. Many people's minds went blank and they fell from the sky. The spiritual boat in the distance shone with incomparable light. The array on it was fully activated to resist the surging power. Inside the spiritual boat, Old Master Lin and the rest of the Lin family were pale. They looked at the apocalyptic scene and were shocked. Fortunately, the spiritual boat's defense was very strong. It did not break through in a short time. Therefore they were not hurt at all. Countless thunders exploded in the sky, flickering with incomparable energy, forcing Murong Qingqing to back off. Then, 7 black lightning bolts connected the heavens and the earth. They flew quickly towards Murong Qingqing and locked her in the sky. The 7 black lightning bolts shot towards the sky and formed a 7-pointed star cage, trapping Murong Qingqing in it. Sealed? That's great. The martial artists from the Black Dragon sect cheered when they saw this scene. The carefree right emissary sneered. He even crossed his arms and looked as if he was watching a show. How is it, girl? I've said it before. You're no match for me. You'd better go back with me obediently and be my wife. On the other side, Luo Bingshan saw this scene and shouted. She turned around to save Murong Qingqing. However, she was blocked by the Green Dragon left emissary. Hehe, you'd better worry about yourself first. The Green Dragon left emissary sneered. His eyes were burning with passion. Countless black flames surged on his palm and formed a black dragon claw. Then he clawed forward. Boom. The black dragon claw was very terrifying. It carried a monstrous power and tore through the void. 5 bowl-sized black holes appeared. Black light flashed. Luo Bingshan did not dare to take it head-on. She could only dodge quickly. However, the other party was very fast. Therefore, Luo Bingshan was at a disadvantage and could not spare any time to save Murong Qingqing. Chapter 1423. Boom. The black dragon claw was extremely terrifying. It carried a monstrous power and instantly tore through the void. 5 bowl-sized black holes even appeared. It flickered with a dark light. Luo Bingshan did not dare to take it head-on. He could only dodge quickly. However, the opponent's speed was also very fast. Therefore, Luo Bingshan was at a disadvantage and could not spare any time to rescue him. The carefree envoy of the right had a sinister smile on his face. He stepped into the air and walked toward Murong Qingqing. Little girl, come with me obediently. He laughed sinisterly and stretched out a huge palm to grab Murong Qingqing. This time Murong Qingqing shouted. A purple phoenix rushed out of her body and instantly roared in all directions. An extremely powerful energy surged out and blasted the carefree envoy of the right's hand, causing him to retreat. His palm even cracked, revealing eerie white bones on the balcony. Yo, die. The carefree envoy of the right felt a stabbing pain and was extremely furious. His face immediately turned sinister. He did not expect the opponent to still have the strength to resist after being trapped by his 7 lightning bolts. Moreover, the power was so terrifying that it even pierced through his hand. This was too great. It was hard to believe. Humph, I don't believe you can last long. The carefree envoy of the right snorted with a sinister expression. Suddenly, several lightning bolts in the sky continuously bombarded. On the other hand, Murong Qingqing's expression was cold. She supported the purple phoenix and resisted with difficulty. Although she was not in danger for the time being, it would not be long before she was injured by the black lightning bolts. On the other side, Green Dragon's Wuxia also used his great magic power and transformed into countless black flames. They formed a black flame cage and trapped Luo Bingshan inside. Ha 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 ha. Green Dragon's Wuxia laughed loudly when he saw Luo Bingshan trapped and unable to escape. The surrounding Black Dragon sect martial artists laughed wildly. Their expressions were filled with excitement. Subdued, we finally subdued the 2 troublesome enemies. As expected of the sect leader's clone. He's too powerful. The left and right envoys also sneered. Then they no longer cared about Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan. In their opinion, the other party would not be able to hold on for long. It was better to trap and suppress them first. Therefore, the 2 of them turned around and stared at the spirit boat in the distance. The left and right messengers sneered before they slowly walked towards the spirit boat. The demonic abyss below was surrounded by clouds and mist. It was extremely mysterious. And in this demon abyss, there was an extremely large spirit ship called the Black Earth. The Black Earth had existed in the demon abyss for countless years, but no one had ever known about it. This was because no one had ever been able to enter the demon abyss. Of course, there was one exception, and that was Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian had been training on the Black Earth for a year. His entire body was surrounded by resplendent light and surging energy, making him look like a holy war god. On the side, the Crimson Dragon and the Snow White Monkey had already woken up. After absorbing a large amount of demigod realm energy, the Dark Red Divine Dragon had successfully recovered to the King Realm 2 months ago. He had become a 1-star King tier. This caused the Dark Red Dragon to become extremely excited during these 2 months. It constantly roared, causing the entire demon abyss to be filled with ghostly wails and howls. Fortunately, there weren't any cultivators nearby. Otherwise, they would definitely be scared to death. However, after being excited for 2 months, the Dark Red Divine Dragon was also tired. So, it was currently lying on the side listlessly. On the side, the Snow White Monkey was also hugging a spirit fruit and eating happily. It had also absorbed a lot of demigod crystals. Although it hadn't stepped into the King's scripture, the Dark Red Divine Dragon had tested it. With its current strength, it was still unable to completely subdue the monkey. This meant that the monkey was at least a King Realm expert. This monkey is too strange. What species is it? Even I couldn't tell. The Dark Red Divine Dragon held its chin and was extremely displeased. On the side, the Black Earth was still attached to the broken sword. It floated in the sky and circled around the Snow White Monkey. To be honest, even he had a trace of suspicion and wasn't completely sure. I say, hey too, when will this brat wake up? It's already been a year. It's really boring to be cooped up in this spirit ship. The Dark Red Divine Dragon asked. During this year, it had already become familiar with the Black Earth. The Black Earth was just a slightly more powerful artifact spirit. It wasn't strange to the Dark Red Divine Dragon. The Black Earth shook the broken sword and said, not necessarily. The Great Dragon Sword Soul is extremely mysterious. No one knows exactly how much strength he needs to enter the King Realm. But I think it's about time. Perhaps he'll wake up in the next 1 or 2 months. The Black Earth spoke slowly. In the end, it looked at the Dark Red Divine Dragon and said, right, you should go out for a while. Your companions outside are in danger. You're saying that those 2 girls and the people on the spirit ship are in danger? The Dark Red Divine Dragon jumped up. It should be the Black Dragon sect that attacked them. Moreover, the situation is very bad. Damn, why didn't you say such an important thing earlier? The Dark Red Divine Dragon was anxious. He knew that the people on the spirit ship were extremely important to Lin Xian. If anything happened, Lin Xian would definitely go berserk. At that time, he didn't dare to imagine the consequences. Sure enough, before he could move, Lin Xian, who had been cultivating at the side, suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze was like a sharp sword that caused the entire space to tremble violently. Say it earlier if something like this happens next time. Lin Xian's voice was cold as he quickly stood up. Then, his figure flashed and instantly disappeared on the spot. Only the dark red divine dragon and the black earth who was floating in the air were left behind. It's a good thing that you said it. Otherwise he would definitely tear your black earth apart. The dark red divine dragon sighed. He knew Lin Xian's temper very well and how important the people on the ship were to Lin Xian. The black earth shook his sword. He didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a temper. However, after half a day he came back to his senses and said, "Yes, not bad. You're indeed a righteous person. Looks like I didn't choose the wrong person." In the end, this fellow actually became happy again. Alright, I'll go take a look. The dark red divine dragon ignored the black earth and also left. Wuji the snow-white little monkey also jumped on the dark red divine dragon's back and hugged the spirit fruit, unwilling to let go. In the outside world, in the sky of Xia country, Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were resisting with difficulty. Murong Qingqing's body was surrounded by a purple phoenix, resisting the 7 black lightning bolts around her. The 7 black lightning bolts kept shrinking and were now less than 5 feet away from her. Luo Bingshan was in even more danger. The black flame cage was less than 10 feet away from her. Soon it would burn her. If she was burned by the black flames, even if the falling ice mountain had the strength of a half-step king, it would be difficult for her to resist. Chapter 1424. Luo Bingshan was in even more danger. The black flame cage was less than 10 meters away from her. Soon it would burn her. If she was burned by the black flame, even if she had the strength of a half-step king, it would be difficult for her to resist. However, this was not the most worrying thing. The most worrying thing was the spirit boat behind them. Everyone on it was Lin family members. There was not a single venerable. If the formation on the spirit boat was broken, the people on it would be in danger. No. Luo Bingshan's eyes were filled with despair. How dare you? Murong Qingqing's face was also cold. She was so angry that her body trembled. She activated her bloodline power and bombarded the black lightning around her. However, no matter what she did, she could not move it at all. This made her feel powerless. She even bit her lip until it bled. Those were Lin Xian's family members. Before Lin Xian left, he had told her to protect them. But now she had to watch the Lin family members suffer. How was she going to explain this to Lin Xian in the future? The left and right envoys sneered and slowly approached the spirit boat. Not bad, not bad. I didn't expect this spirit boat to be of such a high grade. It's actually a half-Earth rank artifact. And it's even a half-Earth rank artifact. The left and right envoys looked at the spirit boat and nodded. It seemed that they were very satisfied with this spirit boat. And the formation on it is also very exquisite. Ordinary half-step kings can't break it. But now that might not be the case. The two of them sneered. They were not ordinary half-step kings. They were the clones of the Black Dragon Hierarch. Their strength was above that of half-step kings. Therefore, as long as they attacked with all their strength, breaking the formation would not be a problem. As for the Lin family members on it, they naturally did not care. In their eyes, they were just a bunch of ants. They just wanted to kill them. What they wanted was this spirit boat. Boom. The left envoy sneered and pressed his palm forward. Suddenly, a black palm surged out and slammed into the spirit boat. Boom. The formation on the spirit boat spun and flickered with dazzling light. It quickly resisted the attack. There was a violent explosion in the air, and the entire spirit boat shook violently. The Lin family clansmen inside were thrown to the side. Clan leader, what should we do? The members of the Lin clan were terrified. They could only look at Old Master Lin. Old Master Lin's face was also gloomy. He didn't expect to fall into danger again after just escaping from the ice. If these people were killed, then the Lin family's bloodline would be cut off. However, as the head of the family, he could not afford to panic. Why are you panicking? This spirit boat is very magical, and the array formation on it is also very huge. They might not be able to break it. Furthermore, I believe that little Xian will definitely return. Hearing Old Master Lin's words, the surrounding Lin family members calmed down. Then they clenched their fists and looked outside angrily through the array. Outside, Green Dragon's Wuxia was surprised after he struck out with his palm. He didn't expect the formation to be so powerful that it could withstand his attack. This array is so mysterious. I'm afraid it's not from the Tianan region. Where did it come from? Could it be something from the Jianghu continent? Green Dragon's Wuxia's eyes flickered. The more he looked at it, the more he felt that it was possible. Only that place could create such an exquisite thing. Stop fooling around. Hurry up and take back the spirit boat. Carefree envoy, you said in a deep voice. Then, a bolt of black lightning appeared in his palm again and quickly blasted forward. Rumble. The black lightning carried a monstrous force and struck the spirit boat, causing countless explosions. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them kept attacking the array formation on the spirit boat. Both of them were king's avatars and were extremely powerful. Now that they were attacking together, the array formation kept shaking. The light screen shook violently and looked like it would break at any moment. At the back, Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were pale. They fought back frantically, trying to escape the cage. However, they couldn't break through the black dragon flame and the black lightning. They could only watch as the left and right envoys attacked. Crack, 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 crack. Finally, under the intense attacks, the light screen on the spirit boat cracked like a mirror. Terrifying cracks crawled all over it. Not good. Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan's faces changed. They knew that things were going to get worse. Without the defense of the array formation, the Lin family members couldn't withstand a casual attack from the left and right envoys. On the spirit boat, the Lin family members' faces changed. They didn't expect the array formation to be broken. Even old Master Lin's face darkened. However, as the head of the Lin family, he still roared. The Lin family members aren't cowards. Even if we have to die, we will die in battle. Everyone listen up. Pick up your weapons. Yes. The Lin family members behind him roared. At this moment, the wildness in their hearts rose. They took out their swords and sabers, ready to fight to the death. You want to fight to the death with us? The left and right envoys sneered. A bunch of ants. Do you really think you can defeat a giant dragon? You're overestimating yourselves. To be honest, they didn't care. The people in front of them were no different from ants. With a single finger, they could easily wipe out the entire Lin family. The left and right envoys looked down at the Lin family members as though they were looking at ants. As long as they used their strength, they could kill all of them. In the next moment, Green Dragon's Wuxia sneered and raised his arm. Just as the arm was about to land, he suddenly frowned and turned his head to the left. You're courting death. With a roar, Green Dragon's Wuxia didn't attack again. Instead, he slashed his palm to the left. Buzz. In the next moment, the void vibrated and a figure appeared. It was a middle-aged man in black. He had an ordinary face and held a long sword in his hand that emitted a cold light. However, at this moment, the middle-aged assassin's face was pale and there was a tinge of fear in his eyes. His body swayed and he quickly retreated to the back. However, Green Dragon's Wuxia's palm was faster. Like a black dragon claw, it grabbed the assassin and crushed his head. Boom. Like a watermelon being split open, blood splattered and the headless corpse fell to the ground. Trying to sneak an attack on me? You're courting death. Green Dragon's Wuxia sneered and his face was full of disdain. On the spiritual boat, the Lin family martial artists were in despair. This was because they knew that the martial artist who had attacked them was one of the 3 5-star assassins who had been protecting them. This person was powerful and could even kill a peak rank 9 martial artist. However, he couldn't even dodge a single attack from Green Dragon's Wuxia. He was killed directly. Chapter 1425. Looking at the scene before them, the Lin family martial artists on the spiritual boat in front were in despair. This was because they knew that the martial artist who had attacked previously was one of the 3 5-star assassins who had been protecting them. This person was powerful and could even assassinate a peak rank 9 martial artist. However, in the hands of the left Green Dragon emissary, he could not even dodge a single attack. He was killed directly. This was too terrifying. Behind them, Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan looked solemn. The left Green Dragon emissary sneered and attacked again. In the next instant, 2 figures appeared from the void and charged towards the left Green Dragon emissary and right emissary Xiaoyao respectively. Their appearance was very sudden, as though they were ghosts. The aura on their bodies was even sharper. It was as though they had become one with the long sword in their hands, forming a killing sword that exuded a terrifying murderous aura. This murderous aura was so intense that it materialized into rays of light that surrounded their bodies. Those who were proficient in assassination knew that this murderous aura was too terrifying. It was formed from countless battles and blood. It had a terrifying aura. An ordinary martial artist would not be able to resist this aura at all. Just this murderous aura alone could destroy the opponent's willpower and soul. In the next instant, the two of them turned into shocking rays of light and stabbed towards the left and right emissaries. However, the left and right emissaries sneered. They already knew that there were people beside them. When they saw the other party attack, they snorted in disdain. Bus, bus, bus. The two long swords turned into cold rays of light and stabbed respectively. However, they stopped 3 meters in front of them. It was as though they had been grabbed by a pair of invisible hands and could not move forward at all. Ants will always be ants. Even if it's an assassination, you won't stand a chance. Emissary Xiaoyao sneered in disdain and pointed his finger. Poof, poof. The bodies of the two 5-star assassins split open and turned into a bloody mist that filled the air. In the face of two king avatars, they had no power to resist at all. Ah, they're all dead. On the spiritual boat, the Lin family members' eyes were filled with shock and despair when they saw this. They did not expect that the 3 5-star assassins who had been protecting them would be killed so easily. Were they really at the end of the road? Alright, the game is over. You have no more tricks up your sleeves. Now I'll send you on your way. The carefree right emissary grinned as countless lightning bolts surged out of his palm and circled around his fingertips. In the next moment he stretched out his palm and grabbed forward. No. Luo Bingshan frantically shook his head. Everyone listen up. Kill. Old Master Lin shouted angrily as he gripped the long sword in his hand tightly. The Lin clansmen behind him also had resolute expressions on their faces. Even if they were to die in battle, they absolutely could not disgrace the Lin clan's reputation. Lin Xian, come quickly. Murong Qingqing screamed as tears streamed down her face. Ha! No matter how you struggle, you won't be able to escape death. This is the fate of an ant. The carefree right emissary laughed arrogantly, then quickly pressed his palm down. Boom! An earth-shattering collision sound rang out, and terrifying energy exploded in the air. Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan had already closed their eyes. They did not dare to look anymore. As for the Lin clan members behind them, they were all prepared to die in battle. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared and landed in front of the Lin clan members. He then threw a punch. Boom! In the next moment, a blood-curdling scream was heard. The scream was extremely miserable, and it did not even sound like it came from a human. What? The Lin clan members were all stunned as they realized that the scream did not come from their clan members. Then they looked forward and froze on the spot. Some of them even began to tremble, and their eyes were filled with ecstasy. As for the green dragon left emissary, his face was filled with shock and disbelief. In the distance, Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan's eyebrows trembled slightly, and their tightly shut eyes quickly opened. This was because they knew that the situation seemed to have changed. Indeed, in the next moment they looked into the distance and were all stunned. Even Murong Qingqing stopped crying and smiled, revealing her beautiful face. In front of the spiritual boat in the air, a figure stood. It was a very young man who looked to be in his 20s. However, at this moment he was standing in the air, emitting a cold aura like a god of slaughter. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning. They were like two peerless swords sweeping in all directions. It was him who had sent the right emissary flying with a punch. Who are you? At the side, the green dragon left emissary looked at the young man with a gloomy gaze. I don't care who you are. If you dare to hurt me, I'll kill you. In the distance, the right emissary flew over quickly. His face was extremely ferocious, and he was emitting a terrifying murderous aura. The previous blow had severely injured him, and his entire right arm was completely smashed. At this moment he held his weak right arm and rushed over quickly. His eyes were like a sword, and he did not hide his murderous aura. Lin Xian. Master. Xiao Xian. Exclamations filled the air, and those voices were filled with shock and joy. That's right, the young man who looked like a god of swords was Lin Xian. When he knew that the Lin family and Murong Qingqing were in danger, he immediately rushed out of the black earth and finally arrived at the last moment. Grandfather, second uncle, and the rest of the family. Don't worry. With me around they won't hurt you. Lin Xian waved his hand and immediately set up another array on the spiritual boat, completely protecting the Lin family. At this moment, the dark red dragon left emissary appeared. It waved its dragon claws and instantly rescued Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan. Then, the three figures swayed and came to Lin Xian's side. You're injured. Take these quickly. Lin Xian took out a few elixirs and gave them to Luo Bingshan and Murong Qingqing. Then, he looked at Murong Qingqing again and gently wiped the tears on her face. he said softly, "I've made you worry. You really scared me to death." Murong Qingqing grumbled as she smiled through her tears. Lin Xian also felt guilty, so he reached out and gently hugged Murong Qingqing in his arms, comforting her quickly. At the side, Luo Bingshan and the Lin family members behind him were all smiles. However, the left and right emissaries in front of them had dark expressions. This was because they realized that the people in front of them had completely ignored them. That's right, ignored them. The other party didn't care about them at all. The two of them didn't even look at them. This kind of neglect was even worse than contempt. The left and right emissaries, who had always been arrogant, couldn't tolerate it at all. Moreover, they were the clones of the Black Dragon sect's leader. Who in the world dared to ignore them? And now, the young man in front of them really dared to treat them like this. Therefore, they swore that they would definitely kill the other party to relieve the hatred in their hearts. "Brat, no matter who you are, you'll die for injuring me." The carefree right emissary's voice was unusually ferocious. Beside him, the green dragon left emissary didn't say anything, but his cold eyes were also fixed on Lin Xian. Chapter 1426. "Brat, no matter who you are, since you dared to injure me, you must die." Carefree right emissary's voice was exceptionally malevolent. On the side, green dragon left emissary did not speak, but his cold eyes were also firmly staring at Lin Xian. Lin Xian creased his brows and looked at the two, saying in a deep voice, "Left and right emissaries?" To be honest, he was somewhat surprised because the left and right emissaries he knew were not like this. Moreover, the other party's aura was too strange, far beyond that of a half-step king. No wonder Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan could not beat him. Because no half-step king could beat this kind of aura. They are not the left and right emissaries, but the doppelgangers of the Black Dragon hierarch. Murong Qingqing explained. The real left and right emissaries were already dead. Their bodies had been stolen, and their doppelgangers had been sent down. Therefore their strength had greatly increased. "Lin Xian, you must be careful." King's doppelgangers? No wonder. Lin Xian came to a realization as he stared ahead with a piercingly cold gaze. "Regardless of whether you two are doppelgangers or something else, since you've touched my bottom line, you two must die today." "What? You want us to die? Ridiculous." The left and right emissaries sneered. "Brat, do you know who you're talking to? Idiot. We're not half-step kings but true kings' doppelgangers. Kneel down obediently and offer me the treasures and beauties, and I can spare your little life. Otherwise all of you will die." Just two doppelgangers, what's there to be arrogant about? The dark red dragon snorted disdainfully. "Back then even your true bodies were slapped away, let alone you two." "What? You slapped away our true bodies?" Hearing these words, the left and right emissaries were shocked. Everyone else was stunned. Murong Qingqing, Luo Bingshan, and the Lin family members were all stunned. These two's true bodies were the Black Dragon hierarch. They were true kings, and this dark red dragon before them had actually slapped away a king. What was going on? They had no idea that Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon had already met the Black Dragon sect's leader. Therefore these people were extremely shocked, and the 20 people around them were even more shocked. "Who are you?" The left green dragon envoy coldly snorted. Although it was only a clone, his soul was connected to the Black Dragon religious leader. Therefore he could naturally sense a familiar aura from Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon. Little black flood dragon, don't you remember? Back then I easily sent you flying with a slap." Hearing this, the faces of the left and right messengers darkened. Suddenly, their pupils shrank as if they had thought of something. They pointed at Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon, trembling non-stop. "It's you? It's you? It looks like you've remembered?" Lin Xian looked ahead with a cold smile. "Is it really you guys? Great. Ah. I thought that the great dragon sword spirit had gone far away and was not fated with me in this life. I didn't expect you guys to come knocking on my door. Since that's the case, I'll take it." The left and right envoys were too excited because they had already remembered what had happened previously. The young man and the dark red snake in front of them were the people who had fought with their true bodies for the great dragon sword spirit. In other words, these two people had the great dragon sword spirit. If they could capture these two people, they would definitely be able to obtain the great dragon sword spirit. Thinking of this, the left and right envoy's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Not only that, but the Black Dragon sect's leader, who was far away in the horizon, also moved personally and flew over as if he had gone mad. He had already missed the chance to obtain the great dragon sword spirit once, so he would definitely not miss it this time. On the other side, the left and right envoys also unleashed extremely powerful auras as they quickly charged toward Lin Xian. At this moment, their eyes were filled with madness. They had already received orders from the Black Dragon sect's leader. No matter what, they had to take down Lin Xian. Even if they could not do so, they had to drag it out until the Black Dragon sect's leader arrived. Lin Xian, be careful. Seeing the two rushing over, Murong Qingqing anxiously shouted. Lin Xian patted Murong Qingqing's back and comforted her. Don't worry, leave it to me. Then he took a step forward and an extremely powerful aura immediately surged out from his body. This year of cultivation had greatly increased his strength. Although he had not reached the true king realm, he had already surpassed the half-step king realm. Even if he was facing two king realm clones now, he was still not afraid. In the next moment, Lin Xian was like a sword god, and his entire body was surrounded by terrifying sword qi. Countless sword qi surged in the surroundings, causing the entire void to distort. Humph! With a cold snort, Lin Xian raised his arm and pointed out. Instantly, a ray of light shot out like an angry dragon. This was an earth-rank martial art, void-shattering finger. At this moment it was executed by Lin Xian and it was extremely terrifying. The dazzling ray of light streaked across the sky, bringing with it endless sounds of wind and thunder. It even pierced through the void. Boom! A terrifying collision sound rang out as the void-shattering finger fiercely collided with the right emissary's shoulder, instantly piercing through it. Ah! The right emissary immediately stopped and roared towards the sky with an incomparably ferocious expression. His entire body was trembling. Previously Lin Xian had shattered his entire right arm and now his left shoulder was pierced through. In other words, his entire left arm was crippled. Now that both his arms were crippled, his battle prowess had greatly decreased. Not only that, bright red blood quickly flowed along his arm and dripped into the sky, dyeing the entire sky red. What? How is this possible? Everyone was shocked because they all knew the right emissary's strength. He had already surpassed the half-step king realm. However, such a terrifying existence was actually heavily injured by Lin Xian with a single finger. This was simply unbelievable. Especially the left emissary whose eyelids were twitching. Damn it! What level has this kid reached? His strength is actually so powerful? To be honest, he was simply too shocked. It should be known that even a half-step king would be powerless before them. But now the opponent's single finger had caused such a terrifying aura. This meant that the opponent's strength was definitely above the half-step king realm. Kid, I'm going to kill you. The right emissary roared with an incomparably ferocious expression. He no longer cared about his shoulder that had been pierced through. Instead, he turned into a black beam of light and charged at Lin Xian. Not only that, his body was also burning with a terrifying black flame, causing the entire void to distort and melt. Although he had lost both his arms, the right emissary had become even more terrifying. In an instant he arrived in front of Lin Xian. His right leg was like a dragon as it quickly kicked out. Immediately, the void in front of him was completely shattered. The power of this kick was too violent, like an ancient demonic mountain, directly sweeping towards Lin Xian. Chapter 1427. Lin Xian coldly snorted as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Since the other party dared to make a move on his family, then he would have to face his boundless rage. Lin Xian quickly formed a seal and a sky rock shadow appeared in his palm. Then Lin Xian fiercely pressed forward. Sky Rock Dragon. Lin Xian used the Sky Rock Dragon technique and directly transformed into an ancient demonic beast that quickly charged forward. Boom. In the next moment, the two collided and burst out with a powerful energy wave. It was like a raging sea that constantly slammed in all directions. In an instant, Lin Xian's body was covered by the starry sky battle armor. As for the rest, they were handed over to the dark red divine dragon. The other party was now a true king, so this bit of power was nothing to him. Therefore, with a wave of his dragon claw, everyone was protected. In the next moment, a scream suddenly came from the void, and there was also the sound of bones shattering. Obviously, the outcome of the battle had been decided after one blow. The carefree right emissary was extremely ferocious. His entire right leg was completely broken, and his face was extremely twisted. Ah, kid, you dare to hurt me? I'll kill you. I'll definitely kill you. The black flames on his body burned even brighter. In the end, his entire body turned into a monstrous black flame and charged toward Lin Xian. "Die." A ferocious voice came from the black flame. Lin Xian coldly snorted and clenched his fist. Suddenly, A sharp sword light slashed forward. Off. The sword slashed out with incomparable sharpness. In the next moment, the black flame was instantly cut in half. Even the aura of the great dragon sword spirit that was contained within it directly extinguished the remaining black flame. This scene shocked everyone. They did not expect Lin Xian to kill the carefree right emissary in just a split second. This method was too terrifying. One had to know that the carefree right emissary was an existence that surpassed the half-step king realm. Moreover, he was a king's clone. He was extremely terrifying. However, he was killed by this young man in front of them with a single slash. This ending was something that they had never dreamed of in their entire lives. On the other side, the green dragon left emissary's eyelids twitched wildly. He did not expect this young man to be so powerful. His strength had already surpassed them. This made him feel a sense of despair. However, the Black Dragon sect master had ordered them to stall the person before them no matter what. In the next moment, he gritted his teeth and transformed into a black flood dragon, covering the entire sky. Brat, so what if you're strong? Against a true king you'll definitely die. Just you wait. My main body will be here soon. Then it will be the time of your death. The black flood dragon roared in all directions. Then the huge black dragon in the sky suddenly exploded, turning into countless black flames that instantly enveloped Lin Xian and the others. There were black flames everywhere in the sky and on the ground. It could be said that the entire space had been sealed. Even a half-step king would not be able to escape. Only a true king would be able to break through the void. This method was too terrifying. If an ordinary person was trapped here, they probably wouldn't be able to get out. However, this time the Black Dragon Hierarch was wrong. He had absolutely underestimated Lin Xian. Lin Xian's current strength had already surpassed that of a half-step king. Moreover, he had many methods at his disposal. Breaking this seal could be said to be a piece of cake. Moreover, they had the dark red dragon behind them, which had already reached the realm of a true king. Therefore, Lin Xian did not care about this seal in the slightest. Let's go back to the spirit boat. Lin Xian brought Murong Qingqing and the others back to the spirit boat. Then he raised his hand and set up several arrays. Ruffian dragon, it's up to you. The next moment, the dark red divine dragon roared, and a red dragon shadow rushed out, instantly breaking through the black flame cage that was set up around them. Not only that, the dragon waved its claw, and hundreds of rays of light flew out, instantly killing the remaining Black Dragon sect martial artists. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with a bright red mist of blood. The dark red dragon led the way in front, leading Lin Xian and the others into the demonic abyss. On the other side, the Black Dragon sect master was like a bolt of black lightning, rapidly flying through the sky. He was extremely anxious because the great dragon sword soul was such a good opportunity that he absolutely could not miss it. Moreover, according to the information from his doppelganger, he had already set up the omnidirectional sealing array, completely sealing Lin Xian and the others. This made him inwardly heave a sigh of relief. One had to know that the array was formed by his black dragon flames, and no one below the realm of king could break it. No matter how strong the other party was, as long as they were not a true king, they would not be able to break out. This gave him time and opportunity. Just wait, the great dragon sword soul will definitely be mine. When I obtain the great dragon sword soul, not to mention the Tianan region, even the Jianghu continent will not be my match. The entire world will be mine. Ah! The Black Dragon sect master's black robes fluttered, and he let out a sinister laugh before quickly disappearing into the sky. On the other side, the dark red dragon led the spirit boat into the incomparably mysterious demonic abyss. This is the demonic abyss? The incomparably mysterious demonic abyss? Old Master Lin, second Uncle Lin, and the others were shocked. They did not dare to believe that they had actually entered the demonic abyss. During this period of time, they naturally knew that the reason why the Xia country had undergone such earth-shattering changes was because of this demonic abyss. It was said that this demonic abyss was incomparably mysterious, and only the Black Dragon sect master could enter. Once others entered, they would not be able to leave alive. Who would have thought that they would actually be able to enter safely? On the side, Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were even more shocked. As Ninth Heaven Venerables, their strength was not inferior to that of a half-step king, so they naturally knew what the previous battle meant. It meant that Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon's strength had definitely surpassed that of a half-step king. This was especially true for the Black Dragon sect's Divine Dragon, which even carried an aura that caused their hearts to tremble. Murong Qingqing was even more shocked because this aura could only be felt from the ancestor of the Murong clan. This was the aura of a king. Ruffian dragon, you've entered the king realm and become a king? Murong Qingqing's eyes widened. She did not dare to believe it. Of course. What do you think, little girl? Are you scared? The dark red dragon laughed wildly and was extremely pleased with himself. It could be said that recovering to the king realm was the most satisfying thing for him during this period of time. Murong Qingqing was speechless, while Lin Xian's face darkened as he pulled the dark red dragon to the side. Ignore this fellow. This fellow just entered the king realm and wants nothing more than for the whole world to know. Of course. After recovering to the king realm, my strength has increased greatly. In the future I'll beat up whoever I don't like. Kid, if you dare to be rude to me again, do you believe that I won't beat you up as well? You can try. If you really do it, then don't even think about the subdivine crystal in the future. Lin Xian shrugged and didn't care at all. Fuck. Kid, you win. I'll endure it. The dark red dragon instantly lost his temper. He still had to rely on the subdivine crystal to recover, so he naturally couldn't beat up Lin Xian. On the other hand, Murong Qingqing was speechless. Why did it sound like entering the king realm was an extremely easy thing to do? Chapter 1428. The sky was dark, blood-red, and had a strong pungent smell. This was the battlefield from before. At this moment, there were still remnants of violent energy and inextinguishable sword intent in the air. The entire scene was like an azure hell. Whoosh. However, at this moment, a black light flew over at an extremely fast speed from afar. Behind him was a large amount of air waves and boundless black flames. Whoosh. In the next instant, the black light figure arrived near the sky. This figure was tall, at least 3 meters tall. He wore a black robe with a fierce black dragon drawn on it. This was the Black Dragon Hierarch. His expression was cold, and his cold eyes quickly scanned the surroundings. When he saw the scene in front of him, his face immediately turned gloomy, and the black flames on his body burned rapidly. Where are they? The Black Dragon Hierarch did not care about the dead Black Dragon Hierarch. Instead, he quickly looked for Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon. However, after looking around, he did not find them. Impossible. Didn't they say that those people were trapped by the 10-directional absolute ceiling formation? How could they be gone? The Black Dragon Hierarch frowned, but in the next moment he noticed something strange in front of him. This is 10-directional absolute ceiling formation. It was actually broken. How is this possible? His eyes were like lightning as he carefully looked ahead. There were traces of the formation being broken, but the entire formation had long disappeared. The Black Dragon Hierarch naturally knew what this meant. It meant that the other party had broken the formation. But this shouldn't be. This formation was formed by his black dragon flames, and those below the king level could not break it. How did the other party do it? Could it be because of the great dragon sword soul? Thinking of this, the Black Dragon Hierarch's expression changed. He was very angry that the other party had escaped, but there was also a trace of joy in his heart. This time he had finally seen the power of the great dragon sword soul. Even such a powerful formation could be broken by the great dragon sword soul. If he obtained it, his strength would definitely undergo an earth-shattering change. As expected of an offensive Saint Art, its combat power was indeed shocking. Kid, you're just a small mortal. You don't deserve the great dragon sword soul. Only I can unleash the true strength of the great dragon sword soul. The Black Dragon Hierarch snorted, then turned around and left quickly. Looking at the direction he was heading, he should be heading to the Demon Abyss. This was because he knew that the last time he saw Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon was in the Demon Abyss. This person had entered the Demon Abyss and yet was able to come out alive. This meant that this person must have grasped some secret that he didn't know about. That was why he was sure that the other party had gone to the Devil Abyss this time. That was because the Devil Abyss contained subdivine crystals that could even tempt kings. That's good too. When I kill you all, not only will I obtain the Great Dragon Sword Soul, but I will also obtain the Subdivinity Crystal. This is killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Brat, wash your neck and wait for me. The Black Dragon religious leader laughed nastily and instantly disappeared. On the other side, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the other members of the Lin family entered the Black Earth. When they saw the corpses of the invincible kings and the substandard divine crystals on the ground, they all opened their mouths wide and froze on the spot. Heavens, who are these people? Their auras are too terrifying. Old Master Lin's beard curled up. Yeah. Second Uncle Lin also sighed emotionally. The auras of these people far surpassed that of the Black Dragon Cult Master. It could be said that these were the true peerless experts. However, such a powerful person had actually been killed. This was simply too mystical and strange. Especially Murong Qingqing, who was even more shocked. One had to know that she had seen many kings, but none of them could compare to the corpses of the kings here. Not to mention the Black Dragon cult master, even all the kings of the Sky Martial continent combined could not compare to that aura. Just who are these people? Are they still kings? Murong Qingqing's heart trembled. They are invincible kings. Lin Xian gave a simple introduction. Then, everyone learned about invincible kings, the 9 realms and the true spirit world. After that, they were extremely shocked. To be honest, they had never heard of this information before. Old Master Lin and the others had always thought that the Sky South region was the entire world. However, they did not expect that the Sky Martial continent would appear, and now the true spirit world would appear. That was the real big world, and the Tiannan region and the Tianwu continent that they were in were just 2 islands. It had to be said that the impact was too strong. Murong Qingqing's beautiful eyes blinked. She knew more than Old Master Lin and the others. She knew that there was an even wider world outside the Sky Martial continent. However, she did not expect that world to be so mysterious and their continent to be so small. Furthermore, the legend of the great emperor had shocked her even more. Moreover, when she saw the subdivine crystal on the ground, she was even more shocked. Originally, she thought that after obtaining a subdivine crystal, she would be able to use it when she entered the king realm. However, she did not expect that there would be a ground here. Everyone felt that their heads were about to explode. Although the subdivine crystal is mysterious, it is best not to use it casually if it is not a king crystal. Lin Xian said solemnly. However, he was different from the dark red divine dragon. The dark red divine dragon was originally a king. This time it was only recovering its strength. As for Lin Xian, he had absorbed the power of the subdivine crystal and gave it to the great dragon sword spirit. His body did not absorb it. Therefore it did not affect him from becoming a king. However, others could not use it casually. Fortunately, there were not only subdivine crystals here, there were also other natural treasures. Although there were not many, they were all top-notch. After making arrangements for Old Master Lin and the others, Lin Xian began to think about his next step. The first was martial Dao. Since he already knew the 9 realms, he would continue to walk on the path of martial Dao. His goal was to become a great emperor. The second was to settle the matter of the Tiannan region. As long as he got rid of the Black Dragon sect leader and uprooted the Black Dragon sect, the Tiannan region would regain its peace. However, Lin Xian had already decided that even if he got rid of the Black Dragon sect, he would not immediately bring the Lin family members to the Sky Martial continent. Because there was still a powerful enemy in the Sky Martial continent, the Duan family. Therefore he would wait until he got rid of the Duan family before bringing Old Master Lin and the others to the Sky Martial continent. At that time his father would probably come out of seclusion. At that time his family would be reunited. After that, he would leave the Sky Martial continent and go to the real great world. However, he still lacked the energy to activate the Black Earth. This was also one of the things that gave him a headache. Forget it, the most important thing now is to increase my strength and get rid of the Black Dragon sect leader first. Lin Xian slowly closed his eyes and started to absorb the subdivine crystal again. In his body, the great dragon sword spirit quickly swam around, crazily absorbing the power of the subdivine crystal in order to awaken. This absorption took another half a year. During this period, the subdivine crystal on the ground decreased rapidly. The dark red divine dragon had a pained expression. Damn brat, it's almost all used up. The situation is indeed unexpected. I did not expect the great dragon sword spirit to have so much energy after entering the king realm. Chapter 1429. Lin Xian slowly closed his eyes and began to absorb the subdivinity crystals again. The great dragon sword soul quickly swam within his body and madly absorbed the energy of the subdivinity crystals to awaken. This absorption took another half a year. During this time, the subdivinity crystals on the ground rapidly decreased. The dark red dragon had a pained expression. Damn brat, it's almost all used up. The situation is indeed unexpected. I didn't expect the great dragon sword soul to have so much energy after entering the king realm. He Tu floated in the air and spoke in a deep voice. To be honest, this scene was also beyond He Tu's expectations. Originally, the Black Earth had enough subdivinity crystals, but after Lin Xian and the dark red dragon's absorption, there wasn't much left. And now Lin Xian had absorbed a large portion of it, so there wasn't much left. Even so, Lin Xian still didn't wake up. Moreover, there wasn't any King Realm aura coming from his body. Forget it, we can't help at all. We can only wait patiently, He-Tu said slowly. Then, everyone waited patiently for the result. After another 10 days, a deep dragon roar finally came from Lin Xian's body. This dragon roar was very majestic, causing everyone to tremble in fear. Even the dark red dragon was startled, and the blood in its body quickly boiled. This was too inconceivable. After all, the dark red dragon was a dragon, and a member of the divine dragon clan. The bloodline in its body was extremely high, and there were very few who could rival it. But now, this dragon's roar made it tremble with fear. He-Tu shouted excitedly, "The great dragon sword soul has awakened. It's finally awakened. Only by entering the King Realm would the great dragon sword soul be truly awakened." It was too excited because it had once followed a successor of the great dragon sword, so it naturally knew the true power of the great dragon sword soul. At this moment, the great dragon sword soul within Lin Xian's body had finally entered the King Realm. This caused boundless hope to rise in He-Tu's heart. Fortunately, it had broken through. Otherwise, the remaining subdivinity crystals wouldn't be able to support it for long. In the next moment, Lin Xian opened his eyes, and there was boundless sword light flickering in his eyes. A green dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared in front of him. "Back off. Everyone follow me." Seeing this, He-Tu shouted loudly. Fortunately, the members of the Lin family were all cultivating elsewhere. Only Murong Qingqing, Luo Bingshan, the dark red dragon, and the snow-white monkey were in the hall. These people were all experts. When they heard He-Tu's call, they immediately retreated. Then He-Tu controlled the remaining half of the sword and waved it in the air, forming a light formation that completely enveloped them. In front of him, Lin Xian's dragon sword shadow started to tremble rapidly. Then, countless green lights surged in and formed a green dragon sword domain. This domain wasn't too big. It only had a radius of 10 feet. However, the aura it emitted was enough to make one's heart tremble. Even the dark red divine dragon let out a strange cry. "Fuck, it can't be, how can it be so powerful?" He-Tu shouted excitedly, "That's right, great dragon sword soul. The dragon sword domain has finally been formed." The great dragon sword soul was one of the 5 swords in the world. It was an offensive saint art that could simplify and simulate everything. Its combat power could be said to be incomparably powerful. The first-generation successor of the dragon sword became the great Emperor Shiman. He swept through the 8 barren lands and ruled over 10,000 races. He could be said to be a figure that could crush all ancient times. After him, the second and third generation successors of the dragon sword didn't become great emperors. However, they were also sword saints whose names shook the world. According to the ancient records, the successor of the dragon sword who had reached the great success stage wasn't a great emperor. However, his combat power was incomparably powerful and could even be compared to a great emperor. This was too terrifying. One had to know that He-Tu was an ancient hero. No one in the world could defeat him. He was a true overlord. However, the successor of the dragon sword who had reached the great success stage was actually comparable to a great emperor in terms of combat power. This was shocking news. This kind of combat power was heaven-defying. No wonder the great dragon sword was called an offensive saint art. And now, Lin Xian was this generation's successor of the dragon sword. Moreover, he had already awakened the great dragon sword to the King Realm. In front of him, Lin Xian also slowly stood up. He looked at the dragon sword domain around him and smiled. "This is the King domain? How magical! How powerful!" With a thought, the domain around him quickly revolved. Countless green sword shadows flew out and instantly turned into a green dragon that circled around him. With a light wave of his hand, the azure dragon trembled and turned into a huge phoenix, born from the flames. The phoenix flew high and then turned into a white tiger. It pounced and swooped down. Finally, it turned into a black tortoise that suppressed the surroundings. These weren't real ancient divine beasts. They were all evolved from the great dragon sword soul, which was the current dragon sword domain. Every one of them had to be lifelike as if they were real. Their power was even more powerful. This kind of method was heaven-defying. Not only that, Lin Xian used the dragon sword domain to evolve all kinds of things. The attack power of each of them was extremely powerful. Could be said that Lin Xian was now like a god of war. His sharpness was unstoppable. With a thought, Lin Xian recalled the dragon sword domain. Then the great dragon sword soul also turned into a ray of light and entered his body. Middle stage venerable realm. Lin Xian took a look and found that his cultivation had also risen by a small realm. He had reached the mid-stage venerable realm. He was very satisfied with this result. At least now he could fight against a one-star king. As for a two-star king, he didn't know. Because he knew very well that after reaching the king realm, the gap between each realm was even greater. Compared to the venerable realm, the gap was more than 10 times or 100 times greater. It was impossible for an ordinary king realm cultivator to challenge someone of a higher realm. However, Lin Xian wasn't necessarily so. The great dragon sword soul's attack power was too powerful. It made everyone tremble. Seeing Lin Xian withdraw the dragon sword domain, the dark red dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others quickly rushed over. "Kid, you finally succeeded." The dark red dragon shouted excitedly. Murong Qingqing asked, "Lin Xian, are you a king realm cultivator now?" "I can't be considered a king realm cultivator. I just have a king realm domain." Lin Xian explained, "My current cultivation is still at the mid-stage venerable realm. However, my battle prowess has reached the one-star king realm." Hearing this, the corners of Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan's mouths twitched. Such a powerful venerable realm cultivator, Lin Xian was probably the first one in history. He Tu checked and found that there were only 108 subdivine crystals left. Lin Xian didn't use these subdivine crystals. Instead, he carefully sealed them and left them for Murong Qingqing and the Lin family to use in the future. Now it's time to deal with the Black Dragon sect. Lin Xian's eyes flickered with coldness. "Are we going to beat up that Black Dragon? Count me in." The dark red dragon was very excited. Chapter 1430. "Alright, let's go together." Lin Xian nodded, then left the black earth with the dark red dragon. This time it was only the two of them and they didn't bring anyone else. After all, the Black Dragon sect's leader was a king, and this was a battle between kings. It would be very dangerous for anyone below the king level to go. Murong Qingqing naturally knew this, so she nodded obediently and stayed on the black earth to cultivate. Her main goal now was to enter the king level as soon as possible so that she could catch up to Lin Xian. To be honest, Murong Qingqing's talent was extraordinary, especially her bloodline power. Even He Tu was shocked for a long time when he saw it. In fact, when He Tu saw Murong Qingqing for the first time, he even screamed. There probably weren't many people with such pure phoenix bloodline in the entire true spirit world. He Tu had been following the fourth-generation successor of the dragon sword, so his experience was very unique. Although he didn't have the phoenix bloodline cultivation method, with his experience he could give Murong Qingqing some very good suggestions. Therefore, in the past half-year, Murong Qingqing's cultivation and strength had increased rapidly. It could be said that she was making rapid progress. In addition, Luo Bingshan and the people of the Lin clan had also improved greatly. Compared to half a year ago, they couldn't be mentioned in the same breath. Above the devil abyss, a black figure sat cross-legged. He emitted a powerful aura. He was the Black Dragon sect's leader. This time, the Black Dragon sect's leader was exceptionally patient. Even after waiting for half a year, he still didn't leave. Because the Great Sword Soul was too tempting. It was the most powerful offensive saint art in the world, and no one wouldn't be tempted. Inside the Devil Abyss, Lin Xian and the Dark Red Dragon had also left the Black Earth and were flying towards the outside world. That guy was outside. As soon as they left the Black Earth, the Dark Red Dragon sensed a powerful aura above. This aura was extremely powerful, and even Lin Xian should have sensed it. He knew that in the entire Southern Heaven region, only the Black Dragon sect's leader could emit such an aura. Whoosh, whoosh. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon transformed into two streaks of light and flew towards the sky. Soon they arrived at the top of the sky. The Black Dragon religious leader suddenly opened his eyes, and two terrifying rays of light appeared in his eyes. "You're finally out." He was really too excited because he didn't expect that the other party would actually take the initiative to show up. To him this was undoubtedly great news. If he could capture the other party, then the Great Dragon Sword Spirit would be his. "Obediently hand over the Great Dragon Sword Soul, and I can spare your life." The Black Dragon sect leader's voice was cold. "You want the Great Dragon Sword Soul? What wishful thinking. Today I'm here to deal with you." Lin Xian snorted coldly. His gaze was as sharp as a divine sword. "Deal with me? Ah." The Black Dragon sect's leader seemed to have heard the funniest joke in the world. He laughed coldly in disdain. "Brat, you're just a puny venerable one. To think that you dare to boast so shamelessly. Do you know what level I am at? I'm a king. The incomparably powerful king of the heavens and the earth. How dare you say you want to kill me? What a joke. Ignorant." The Black Dragon sect's leader sneered in disdain. "What's there to be arrogant about? Aren't you just a one-star king? If I could send you flying back then I can still beat you up now. The dark red dragon snorted coldly. You're just a flood dragon. How dare you call yourself a dragon? You're courting death. What did you say? Hearing this, the black dragon sex leader's face darkened. His black robe and long hair fluttered in the wind. Countless black flames jumped on his body, distorting the surrounding void. It's you? You're that dragon. When the black dragon sex leader saw the dark red dragon, his pupils constricted, and his expression became extremely ugly. Previously he was sent flying by the dark red dragon's slap. Now that he thought about it, the anger in his heart burned even more. However, when he sensed the other party's cultivation, he immediately laughed maniacally. One-star king. You're also just a one-star prince. Haha, the heavens are really helping me. If I catch you and eat your dragon essence and dragon blood, then I'll evolve into a real dragon. Even the heavens are helping me. Not only did they send me the great dragon sword soul, but they also sent me a divine dragon. From now on, I am a true member of the divine dragon clan. The black dragon sex leader was too excited. He looked at Lin Xian and the dark red dragon as though he was looking at the most precious treasure. His eyes emitted a terrifying light. If you're courting death, let me deal with it. The dark red dragon snorted coldly and instantly charged out. Like a blood-colored longsword, it quickly streaked across the void and attacked the black dragon sex leader. Go to hell. The black dragon sex leader roared into the sky. Instantly, countless black dragon flames surged rapidly on his body, forming two huge palms that slapped forward. Not only that, but within 100 feet of him, countless seas of fire formed, emitting a terrifying aura. King's domain. This was the black dragon sex leader's domain, the black flame domain. The black flame domain emitted a blazing black light, dyeing the entire void into boundless darkness. If other martial artists were here, they would definitely be so frightened that they would kneel on the ground and tremble non-stop. The aura emitted by the black flame domain was too terrifying. No one below the king realm could withstand it. Two huge black flame palms glided in the air. Countless black lightning bolts surged rapidly in the palms like huge black dragons. These black lightning bolts and the two huge black palms rapidly blasted towards the dark red dragon as though they were going to smash it into pieces. The dark red dragon snorted coldly and let out a shocking dragon roar. Instantly, a red light soared around him. These rays of light enveloped his body, making him look like a bolt of red lightning. He was extremely sharp. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of black lightning bolts descended and blasted the red light, emitting deafening thunder sounds. However, none of the black lightning bolts could break through the red light. In other words, these black lightning bolts did not harm the dark red dragon at all. In an instant, the dark red dragon arrived beside the black dragon sex leader. Boom. A red dragon claw stretched out. It was extremely sharp and instantly shattered the two huge black palms. Moreover, it charged towards the black dragon sex leader in an even more violent manner. You're courting death. The black dragon sex leader was enraged. He had never been threatened like this before. His body glowed with a sharp black light. Countless black flames danced. Combined with the black flame domain, an extremely terrifying power erupted. Black dragon soaring sky. With a cold shout, the countless black flames in the black flame domain immediately condensed into a huge black wave, quickly surging towards the dark red divine dragon. Chapter 1431. Boom. In the next moment, the two of them collided with a terrifying sound. A flood dragon and a dragon started fighting. Damn it. Impossible. How can you be so strong? Not long after, the black dragon patriarch roared furiously, because he realized that his black flame domain was being suppressed. His opponent was like a red sword that was constantly attacking him, making it impossible for him to use his full strength. Moreover, what made him even more furious was that his opponent was just a one-star king like him. However, the strength it displayed was much stronger than his. Could be said that he was being completely beaten up. You're just a flood dragon that has just entered the king realm. How can you use your full strength? You're the ant before me. Watch how I beat you up. The dark red dragon snorted in disdain and then quickly waved its claws. One fierce attack after another slammed into the black flame domain, causing it to be pushed back and shake violently. Damn it. Die for me. The black dragon patriarch roared furiously and used all his strength to counterattack, but he was still being suppressed. This caused him to hold back a ball of anger in his heart. It seemed that his opponent was indeed stronger than him. It would probably be very difficult for him to achieve his wish of absorbing dragon essence and dragon blood. However, in the next moment he looked behind him and saw Lin Xian standing there. The Black Dragon Patriarch laughed wildly in his heart. Yes, this dark red dragon was powerful, but that kid was only a human and he was only at the Exalt realm. That kind of cultivation was like an ant before him. Up until now, the dark red dragon had not used the power of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. This meant that it was very likely that the Great Dragon Sword Soul was with that kid. Thinking of this, the Black Dragon Patriarch's heart thumped wildly. The Black Dragon Patriarch resisted the dark red dragon's attacks while looking at Lin Xian in the distance with a savage smile. Soon he had a plan in his heart. He would give up on the dragon essence and dragon blood in the dark red dragon and only take the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Black Flame Domain, Netherworld Transformation. The Black Dragon Patriarch roared furiously, and the surrounding black flame domain started to churn. Countless terrifying auras dyed the entire sky black. Countless black dragon shadows rushed out and instantly enveloped the dark red divine dragon. Within the black flame domain, the black dragon religious leader sneered. After which, his figure flashed as he quickly retreated and charged towards Lin Xian. His plan was very simple. He only needed to use the black flame domain to trap the dark red divine dragon for a period of time while he himself charged towards Lin Xian. One move. He only needed one move to capture Lin Xian. At that time he would immediately retreat and fly far away. He would only come out after he had grasped the Great Dragon Sword Soul. At that time no one in the world would be his match. This idea was indeed very simple and that was what he did. Therefore, when the black flame domain erupted and enveloped the dark red divine dragon, the black dragon religious leader took the initiative. He turned into a bolt of black lightning and instantly charged towards Lin Xian. Die brat. In the blink of an eye, the Black Dragon Hierarch arrived in front of Lin Xian. His terrifying palm was like a dragon claw that quickly grabbed at Lin Xian's head, wanting to crush it. Lin Xian coldly snorted, and a shocking light burst out from his eyes. Then, the sword chi on his body surged and condensed into a huge shield of sword light in front of him. Clang. In the next moment, the Black Dragon religious leader's palm ruthlessly slammed on the shield, producing an earth-shattering sound. At this moment, a green sword shadow appeared in Lin Xian's right hand. It was a dragon-shaped sword shadow. It was very mighty and emitted a terrifying aura. The moment the dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared, the Black Dragon religious leader's expression changed. This aura? Impossible. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. Because this aura was too terrifying, it made him feel a sense of trepidation. This was the instinct of a martial artist to be able to predict danger. Therefore, the Black Dragon religious leader did not hesitate and quickly retreated. He did not know what was going on with this brat in front of him. Why was he emitting such a dangerous aura? However, he knew that if he did not dodge he would definitely be in danger. You want to leave? It's too late. Lin Xian sneered. Do you really think that I'm a pushover? In the next moment, the terrifying dragon-shaped sword shadow quickly slashed out. As a king, the Black Dragon religious leader's speed was extremely fast. In an instant he had retreated far away. However, the power of this sword strike was too great. The terrifying sword light directly pierced through space and chased after the Black Dragon religious leader as if it wanted to cut him in half. Roar. A loud dragon roar resounded in the sky. The terrifying sword chi slashed down, bringing with it endless waves of air. It was as if the entire sky was cut in half. In the next moment, the terrifying sword light enveloped the Black Dragon religious leader. Ah! The Black Dragon religious leader let out a shrill scream. Then a large amount of blood splattered in the air. Impossible, this is simply impossible. You're just a puny venerable one. How could you possibly hurt me? The Black Dragon religious leader's hair was disheveled as he roared madly. His eyes shone with a terrifying light as if he had gone mad. He's crazy, he's really crazy. Because this had already exceeded his understanding. After all, as a king his strength was extremely terrifying. Only King Realm experts could harm him. Venerable ones below the King Realm could not hurt him at all. In fact, they could not even break through his defense. However, a puny venerable one in front of him had actually injured him. This was simply too unbelievable. No, it's impossible for you to be so powerful. The Great Dragon Sword Soul. This is the power of the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Black Dragon religious leader understood. His eyes flickered as he stared at the dragon-shaped sword in Lin Xian's hand with a sinister smile on his face. Good. as expected of the great dragon sword soul. It can actually allow a venerable one kid to possess such powerful strength. If I get it, I'll definitely be able to dominate the world. The Black Dragon religious leader revealed a sinister smile. He yearned to obtain the great dragon sword soul because its power was too powerful. However, right at this moment, the dark red dragon snorted coldly. He waved his dragon claw and broke through the black flame domain. Little flood dragon, you want the great dragon sword soul? Go play somewhere else. Kid, this flood dragon is too boring. I'll give it to you. The dark red dragon retreated to the side and prepared to watch the show. He knew Lin Xian's strength, so he wasn't worried. Don't be so arrogant. You just have the great dragon sword soul. Humph, with your cultivation, you can't unleash the true strength of the great dragon sword soul at all. Next, I'll let you know the true strength of a king realm expert. The black dragon religious leader snorted coldly. Since the dark red dragon wasn't going to make a move, things would be easier. He just had to use the black flame domain to kill the young man in front of him and seize the great dragon sword soul. In the next moment, he waved his hand, and the black flame domain returned to his side. It flickered with a pitch-black light. Chapter 1432. The black dragon religious leader shouted coldly as his body turned into a ray of light and instantly charged towards Lin Xian. Beside him, the black flame domain burned fiercely, carrying an extremely terrifying energy. No one below the king realm could resist this kind of energy. Just as the black flame domain was about to envelop Lin Xian finally moved. His expression was cold as he waved his hand. Instantly, a dragon-shaped sword shadow dodged, forming an incomparable sword light. Then, a green dragon sword domain quickly formed. Boom! The two domains collided, creating an earth-shattering sound. Cracks formed in the surrounding space. King domain? This is impossible. The black dragon religious leader was forced back, his expression extremely shocked. He looked at the dragon sword domain in front of him and exclaimed. There was nothing he could do. He didn't dare to believe that his opponent also had a king domain. One had to know that a king domain was an ability unique to kings. It was impossible for anyone below the king realm to have it. But now, a ninth heaven venerable had actually unleashed a king's domain. This was really hard for him to believe. Even though he saw it with his own eyes, he still didn't dare to believe it. Illusion, damn it. This must be an illusion. The black dragon religious leader roared crazily. With the black flame domain, his entire body was like a monstrous god fiend, emitting a powerful aura. He waved his hand and a black spear appeared in the black flame domain. He held it in his hand. I don't believe that you can condense a king domain. All of this is fake. Don't try to lie to me. Now go to hell. The black dragon religious leader held the spear in his hand, and a terrifying power shook heaven and earth. A black spear shadow rushed forward like a huge dragon, covering the sky and covering the earth. The energy contained in it was too terrifying. It directly pierced through the void. Today I will let you experience the true power of the dragon sword soul. Lin Xian held the dragon sword soul in his hand, and the dragon sword domain surrounded his body. His entire body was like a sword saint, incomparably sharp. Then he slashed out with his sword. A terrifying sword light spread out in all directions, and a loud dragon roar reverberated for thousands of miles. The black dragon religious leader's expression finally changed when the sword light rushed over. Only now did he know how terrifying the dragon sword soul was. Although Lin Xian was only a ninth heaven venerate, the might of this sword strike was really too terrifying. The power contained within it made the black dragon religious leader feel the threat of death. It did not seem to be a sword light, but an incomparably terrifying huge dragon. The violent energy it carried suppressed the black dragon religious leader to the point that he could not move. How is that possible? This is impossible. The black dragon religious leader's body trembled slightly. He actually couldn't control this kind of terror. Cold sweat trickled down his forehead. Fear, yes, that's right, it's the feeling of fear. How many years had it been since he felt this way? But today he felt it again in the hands of a 20-year-old youth. No, I don't believe it. The black dragon religious leader roared crazily. Before the sword light descended, his body was finally able to move. Seizing the opportunity, he quickly activated his black flame domain and formed 3 terrifying black palms that slapped towards the sky. As for himself, he quickly retreated. Boundless heat waves surged as the 3 terrifying black palms slapped towards the sky, colliding with the dragon-shaped sword light in the sky. This was the black dragon religious leader's all-out attack. It contained terrifying energy as it ruthlessly slapped the sky. Instantly, black holes appeared one after another. However, such terrifying energy was unable to shake the dragon-shaped sword light. The sword light flickered, and the terrifying sword light instantly sliced apart the three black palms. Although the light on them dimmed a little, they still carried boundless energy as they continued to attack the Black Dragon religious leader. Damn it, how is that possible? The Black Dragon religious leader's expression turned ugly when he saw this scene. At this moment he finally experienced the taste of fear. This feeling made his entire body tremble, and even his black robes were drenched. Demon Dragon Spear of Annihilation. Facing the incoming dragon-shaped sword light, he roared again. Instantly, a black demonic spear flew out of his black flame domain. This long spear was pitch black and emitted terrifying demonic energy that spread for 3,000 miles. On the surface of the spear, there were black runes that emitted a heart-palpitating aura of death. The Black Dragon religious leader held the long spear in his hand and quickly swept it out. A terrifying spear light that carried the aura of death surged towards the sky. Not only that, his left hand pulled out a long black saber from his black flame domain. The long black saber was 90 feet long and completely black. It was like a demonic saber that emitted a cold aura. Infernal demonic saber, destroy. He slashed out 32 times in a row, and the terrifying black saber light covered the entire sky. The Black Dragon religious leader's face turned pale. These 32 attacks contained all of his energy and he even felt exhausted. The sky exploded as though it was the end of the world. A huge black vortex appeared and quickly spread out in all directions. At this moment, all the martial artists in Xia country raised their heads and looked towards the sky. They could feel a heart-palpitating energy exploding from the sky. It was like a giant beast in the abyss that wanted to devour the entire world. In fact, the entire Xia country was trembling violently. This was the Black Dragon religious leader's all-out attack, and it was extremely terrifying. Fortunately, it exploded in the sky. Otherwise, if it hit the ground, the entire Xia country would probably be reduced to ashes. However, the Black Dragon religious leader didn't relax. There was even a trace of despair in his eyes. Because such a terrifying attack had only destroyed the dragon-shaped sword chi in the sky. As for Lin Xian, who was far away, he couldn't even touch the corner of his clothes. What? How is this possible? Damn it, I don't believe it. The Black Dragon religious leader roared madly with an extremely unsightly expression. At this moment he no longer had his superior attitude. Instead he was roaring madly like a madman. However, in the next moment, his expression became extremely unsightly again. He noticed that the dragon-shaped sword in Lin Xian's hand was shining with an extremely bright light again. Another dragon-shaped sword chi was circling around the sword. As the leader of a religious sect, the Black Dragon religious leader had already reached the King realm. He could be said to be a peerless expert. There was no one in the southern heaven region who could subdue him. But now his opponent, a young man in his 20s, made him feel extremely threatened. In particular, the sword in his opponent's hand caused him to be extremely shocked. If his opponent's sword chi could be slashed out without restraint, he didn't dare to imagine the consequences. After all, he had used all his strength to barely block the sword chi from before. But now he was about to face the second attack. Damn it, impossible. How can this kid be so powerful? The Black Dragon religious leader shook his head madly in disbelief. It was even to the extent that his martial heart was shaken. No, I can't let him use the second attack. The Black Dragon religious leader's face was gloomy. He decided to strike first. In the next moment he held a black demonic spear and charged forward quickly with the black flame domain. Chapter 1433. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The two domains collided and emitted a resplendent light. Kid, go to hell. This time the Black Dragon hierarch went all out. His black robe fluttered and black scales grew on his limbs and body. He turned into a black dragon. His body grew from 3 meters to 7 to 8 meters tall. He was like a tyrannosaurus that was filled with power. He took a step forward and countless black holes appeared in the sky. Lin Xian also let out a long roar. The dragon-shaped sword in his hand emitted a resplendent light as he shouted coldly, "Let's end this." In the next moment, a blazing sword gleam surged out and covered the entire sky. The void turned green and there were dragon shadows and sword gleams everywhere. The entire sky seemed to have turned into a dragon-shaped sword diagram that emitted terrifying energy. Boom! With a slash of the sword, A huge dragon-shaped sword chi surged out rapidly and flew toward the black dragon hierarch. Wherever it passed, the void collapsed rapidly. In the next moment, the resplendent sword gleam enveloped the black dragon hierarch. Ah! A miserable cry rang out as the black dragon hierarch let out a miserable cry. The terrifying dragon-shaped sword chi shone even more brightly. Streaks of green sword gleams soared into the sky, followed by a terrifying dragon roar. The dragon roar was so clear that all the warriors in Xia country could hear it. At this moment, all the warriors in Xia country raised their heads and looked at the sky with a horrified expression. This was because the sky was filled with countless sword chi. There was an extremely huge dragon shadow circling above, crushing the entire void into countless pieces. After a long time, the green sword shadows that filled the sky gradually disappeared and the pungent smell of blood came from the sky. Above the demon abyss battlefield, the black dragon hierarch was sent flying over 10,000 meters and floated in the sky. His black robe was torn and there was a huge crack on his body. His internal organs and bones were all exposed. There were sword marks all over his body. It could be said that there was not a single part of his body that was intact. Only his head was still intact. However, he looked extremely ferocious at this moment. Impossible, I don't believe it. You can't be so strong. The black dragon hierarch was horrified. That sword had almost taken his life. That sword strike from before was simply too terrifying. It almost split the black dragon religious leader in half. Even now, there were countless green sword chi circling around the wound, madly destroying his body. At this moment he finally felt fear. He knew that even though the young man before him was only a 9th level venerate, his battle prowess still surpassed his own. Now, how could he still dare to snatch the great dragon sword soul? He only wanted to escape, otherwise he would definitely be killed here. But now the path was still sealed. In front of him was Lin Xian, and behind him was the dark red divine dragon. Even if he was at his peak, he would not be able to escape, let alone now that he was heavily injured. In this moment of despair he suddenly thought of a way. He remembered that there was still a king monster at the bottom of the demon abyss. If he called that guy out and worked together with him, he might be able to escape with his life. Therefore, in the next moment, the black dragon religious leader shouted crazily. The guy down there, stop hiding. These two obviously won't let you go. When I die, they will definitely make a move on you. That voice turned into a tangible wave that spread to the bottom of the tide. Sure enough, in the next moment, a low roar suddenly came from below. Then, 9 red arms that were 3,000 meters long quickly stretched out from below. They were like red pillars that connected heaven and earth. It's finally out. Seeing this scene, the black dragon religious leader heaved a sigh of relief. Great, as long as the other king monster attacked, he would definitely have a chance to survive. Lin Xian furrowed his brows as he looked down. At the side, the dark red divine dragon also looked down with interest. In the demon abyss below, there were clouds and mist surrounding it, and behind the clouds, there was a huge black shadow. The black shadow walked over quickly and then appeared in front of everyone. Looking at this king-level monster, Lin Xian was astonished. He knew that there was a monster below, and he also knew that the monster had reached the king level. However, he did not expect that the other party was a fox, and a 9-tailed fox at that. The 9 arms that were 3,000 meters long were actually the 9 tails of the 9-tailed fox. The 9-tailed fox was fiery red, and its body was like a small mountain. His eyes were incomparably cold and there were 9 tails behind him. At that moment they had transformed into 9 terrifying arms. As soon as the 9-tailed fox appeared, it immediately brought with it a monstrous murderous aura that dyed the entire sky red. It's a fox. Lin Xian was surprised. I didn't expect it to be a 9-tailed fox. Looks like it must have eaten a subdivinity crystal to grow to the king level. The dark red divine dragon also narrowed its eyes and looked curiously. Suddenly, the 9-tailed fox let out a low roar with a trace of uneasiness in its expression. For some reason, the 2-meter-long red snake in front of it, which was like an ant in its eyes, was emitting a terrifying aura. Even the aura made it feel a sense of fear. Damn worm, hand over the subdivinity crystal and I'll spare your life. The huge 9-tailed fox spoke in human language with a cold voice. Boom. The dark red divine dragon quickly attacked. Its huge dragon claw turned into a red fist and quickly blasted toward the 9-tailed fox. In the next moment the mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. Heaven and earth shook as the 9-tailed fox's huge body was smashed away. Boom. A mountain peak in the distance was smashed into pieces. Who are you calling a worm? If you spout nonsense again, I'll knock out all your teeth. The dark red divine dragon snorted. Brr. In the distance, the nine-tailed fox got up and quickly rushed over. Its huge eyes stared fiercely at the dark red divine dragon, and its eyes were filled with murderous intent. Angry, it was too angry. As a king-level monster beast, it looked down on everything and had never suffered such humiliation. But now it was sent flying by a red snake in front of it. It was so angry that its lungs were about to explode. But soon it was terrified again. The opponent's power was too terrifying. It was so fast that it was sent flying before it could even see clearly. It knew that the opponent was not weak and was also a king-level monster beast. At the side, the black dragon hierarch stopped his wound with difficulty and said in a low voice, "Stupid fox, don't hesitate. Attack with me and fight against them together. Otherwise, if I die, you won't have a hard time either." Cunning fellow. Aren't you just trying to use my power to escape? You make it sound so righteous. The nine-tailed fox snorted. It seemed that it was not a fool. Lin Xian said coldly, "Since it's out, let's get rid of it together." He had long planned to get rid of the monster beast because if he allowed the nine-tailed fox to live, it would definitely be a huge disaster after they left. Chapter 1434. Brat, you're courting death. The nine-tailed fox was furious. She did not intend to interfere in this matter, but she did not expect this little human to be so arrogant and claim that he would kill her as well. She could not tolerate this. Therefore she launched a fierce attack in the next moment. Her 9 tails transformed into huge palms that quickly grabbed at Lin Xian. Each of them was extremely terrifying and could shatter the void. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly and waved his hand. Immediately, countless cyan sword chi shot out from the dragon sword domain, rampaging in all directions and violently bombarding the 9 tails. Brr. In the next moment, the 9-tailed fox screamed. Blood floated down from the sky because the sword chi had all cut open huge wounds on the 9 tails. Blood spurted out. The 9-tailed fox's expression changed. She quickly retracted her 9 tails with a bewildered expression. She did not expect this little human to be so terrifying. Although his cultivation was only at 9th heaven supremacy, the sword chi was so powerful that it could even injure her. "Ruffian dragon, I'll leave this fox to you. I'll go and kill the black dragon hierarch," Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then, his body swayed and he charged toward the black dragon hierarch with the dragon sword realm. "Don't worry, I'll play with her," the dark red dragon said casually. Then he stretched out his dragon claws and grabbed at the 9-tailed fox. The two of them immediately engaged in a fierce battle. On the other side, the black dragon hierarch was ferocious. "Brat, don't go too far. At most we'll fight to the death." To be honest, he was furious. He thought that he could escape with his life if he summoned the 9-tailed fox. However, he did not expect the young man in front of him to be so powerful that he wanted to kill both of them together. This was something he did not expect. Now, the young man was going to attack again. This made it impossible for him to fight back. Therefore, he gritted his teeth and decided to fight to the death. Since he was going to die anyway, he might as well drag the other party down with him. "Brat, even if I die, I won't let you go." The black dragon hierarch's voice was ferocious. In the next moment, he began to burn the spiritual power in his body. Not only that, but the black flame realm around him also burned rapidly, forming an extremely terrifying energy. Upon sensing this aura, Lin Xian's expression changed. This was because this was the counterattack of a king before his death. It was extremely terrifying and he didn't dare to be careless at all. Therefore he quickly grasped the great dragon sword soul. At the same time he activated the dragon sword domain with all his might. Instantly, countless dragon roars burst forth, and the dazzling sword light illuminated the sky. "Let's end this." Lin Xian slashed down with his sword. On the other side, the black dragon religious leader also let out a furious roar, preparing to ignite the black flame domain and perish together. But in the next moment, his body froze, and a look of disbelief appeared in his eyes. What a fast sword. Boom. The black dragon religious leader's body was completely split into 2 halves. Not only him, but the black flame domain around him was also split apart by the sword. Quick. It was too fast. The speed of this sword exceeded the black dragon religious leader's expectations. He was killed before he could even react. After killing the black dragon religious leader, Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. His face was somewhat pale. After all, he was only a 9th level venerable now, and could not use the dragon sword domain for a long time. But fortunately he had not reached his limit yet. So in the next moment he turned around and stared at the nine-tailed fox in the distance again. Being stared at by Lin Xian, the nine-tailed fox's body instantly froze. This was because it had seen how Lin Xian killed the Black Dragon religious leader previously. That sword strike had made its heart tremble. Even if it were the nine-tailed fox, it would not have the ability to resist. So now, being stared at by Lin Xian, it was very scared. If the other party attacked it, it would not be able to resist at all. So in the next moment, it hurriedly shook its head. Stop. I don't want to fight anymore, I don't want to fight anymore. It did not dare to fight anymore because it was being beaten up by the dark red divine dragon now. And this was because the other party was deliberately teasing it and did not kill it. Otherwise it would have been killed long ago. Now that Lin Xian was here, it was even more impossible to win. So it could only beg for mercy. If someone here saw this scene, their eyes would definitely pop out. A king demonic beast was actually begging for mercy. This was something that they did not dare to imagine. However, at this moment it was really happening. Hearing this, Lin Xian did not make a move. Instead, he turned to look at the dark red divine dragon. Ruffian dragon, can you subdue it? No problem. It's only a one-star king demonic beast. It's completely subdued. The dark red divine dragon was very confident. Now that it was also a king demonic beast, it could use some magical methods. It was no longer like before when it only had thoughts and no power. Alright then. Seal it and bring it back. Bring it back? You want to keep it as a pet? The dark red divine dragon asked. It really did not understand what Lin Xian wanted to do. Keep it as a pet? Hearing this, the nine-tailed fox's mouth twitched. It was arrogant and unruly. As a king demonic beast, it looked down on the world. Now it was being kept as a pet. This huge contrast made it so angry that it almost vomited blood. However, in order to save its life, it did not dare to resist at all. Otherwise, the other party would definitely kill it. It could only grind its sharp teeth and snort madly in its heart. Brat, just you wait. One day I'll eat you with my own mouth. In the next moment, the dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws and cast a powerful seal, directly sealing the nine-tailed fox. The nine-tailed fox was terrified because it found that its body was rapidly shrinking. Not only that, but the power in its body was also rapidly weakening. In the end, it could not even use its power. What kind of technique is this? How can it be so powerful? As a king demonic beast, it naturally knew how terrifying this technique was. It did not expect that the other party would have such a technique. The nine-tailed fox's mountain-like body was rapidly shrinking. In the end, it was only the size of a house cat. After shrinking, the nine-tailed fox was still struggling in the air. The 9 tails behind it were constantly swaying. Its originally ferocious little face looked very cute at this moment. The dark red divine dragon waved its dragon claws and caught the 9-tailed fox in its hand. Little fox, follow us well. As long as we have meat to eat, there will be soup for you. Whoa! The 9-tailed fox snorted twice. It was unknown whether it was crying or agreeing. Let's go back. Lin Xian waved his hand. Then he and the dark red divine dragon turned into 2 bolts of lightning and instantly rushed down to the demon abyss. Inside the demon abyss, black earth. Murong Qingqing waited anxiously. She kept pacing back and forth inside the black earth. She had no choice. She was too worried. After all, Lin Xian wanted to kill the Black Dragon sect's leader, a true king. Although she knew of Lin Xian's strength, the Black Dragon sect's leader was not to be trifled with. Therefore she was very worried. Black earth was spinning in the air. He complained, "Alright, stop spinning. I'm going dizzy." Chapter 1435. Inside the Devil Abyss, Black Earth. Murong Qingqing was anxiously waiting as she paced back and forth inside the Black Earth. She couldn't help it as she was too worried. After all, Lin Xian was going to kill the Black Dragon religion's leader, a true king. Although she knew Lin Xian's strength, the Black Dragon religion's leader wasn't someone to be trifled with either. Hence she was very worried. He too was spinning in the air as he complained, "Alright, stop spinning. I'm getting dizzy." Murong Qingqing quickly asked, "He too, do you think he's in danger? After all, he's a true king." "Miss, you've asked this question 800 times already." He too was helpless. "That brat has the great dragon sword soul and is very powerful. Moreover, there's a king-level divine dragon beside him. What are you worried about?" He too was speechless. One had to know that the great dragon sword soul was very powerful. Being invincible within the same level was the most basic standard. Furthermore, it wasn't difficult to fight someone of a higher level because the Great Dragon Sword Soul was an offensive saint technique. Every generation's successor of the Dragon Sword was an extremely dazzling genius. As for Lin Xian, he had high hopes for Lin Xian. He planned to nurture Lin Xian into a great emperor. If Lin Xian couldn't kill the Black Dragon religion's leader, he would be disappointed. Just as he was thinking, the Black Earth's door suddenly opened. Following that, two figures flashed in. Lin Xian, you're back. Murong Qingqing immediately cheered when she saw the figure. Luo Bingshan also quickly walked over and respectfully shouted, Master, you're back. Lin Xian nodded. At this moment, He Tu lightly said, You've been fighting for a long time. Is it that difficult to kill a Black Dragon religion's leader? There was a trace of dissatisfaction in his tone. Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were already familiar with this kind of language. However, if it was anyone else, even a king-level expert who heard this sentence, they would vomit blood. What did he mean by, is it that difficult to kill a Black Dragon religion's leader? He was a true king. Were they going to be killed like vegetables? If the Black Dragon religious leader was still alive, he would definitely burst into tears upon hearing this. However, Lin Xian shrugged. It's been done for a long time. It's just that something else happened along the way. Look, I brought back something good. As he spoke, Lin Xian took out a furry object from his bosom. What's this? A fox so cute? Murong Qingqing was stunned at first, then she cheered and quickly snatched the red fur ball from Lin Xian's hands. It's actually a nine-tailed fox. Lin Xian, where did you get such a cute animal? Murong Qingqing asked quickly as she rubbed the nine-tailed fox's head. Cute animals? When the nine-tailed fox heard this, her face darkened. She even had the thought of dying. On the other hand, Lin Xian said with a smile, It's nothing. It's just a little fox. It's too cute, Murong Qingqing said. Lin Xian, give it to me. Give it to you? Lin Xian was stunned. He looked at Murong Qingqing. You like this guy? Yes, it's too cute. It's not bad to keep it as a pet. You already have Little White, so give it to me. Hearing this, the little white monkey jumped out. It hummed and gestured for a while, implying that how could the stinky fox in front of it compare to it? I originally planned to use it for something else, but since you like it, I'll give it to you. Lin Xian smiled. This guy is female. If you like foxes, she can give birth to a few more in the future. Originally, when the nine-tailed fox heard that these people were going to distribute her, her face darkened. She lay on Murong Qingqing's body and pretended to be dead. However, when she heard Lin Xian's words, she jumped up and spat out a mouthful of blood. What do you mean by female? That's a female, okay? The nine-tailed fox's face darkened as it spoke human language. Ah, it can speak human language? Murong Qingqing was shocked, then her face was filled with joy. Not bad, it's really intelligent. Looks like it's better than Little White. It's even on the same level as this ruffian dragon. Little girl Murong, what's with that look? How dare you compare me to a fox? I can't stand it. The dark red dragon was unhappy. Meanwhile, the little white monkey was also humming and grumbling with a look of displeasure. On the side, He Tu was also flying around the crowd, interrupting from time to time. Miss, this fox is a one-star king. If you want to be a pet, you have to raise your strength to the king realm first. You said this little fox is a king? This time, both Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were shocked. They didn't expect such a cute little fox to be a king-level monster. However, Murong Qingqing was even more delighted. Such a cute little fox, and it was so powerful. All the more she wanted to adopt it so that she wouldn't have to fight herself in the future. Seeing that Murong Qingqing was delighted, Lin Xian asked, Ruffian Dragon, is your seal safe? Don't release this guy's power or Qingqing will be in danger. Don't worry, with me it's absolutely safe. The dark red dragon said confidently. Lin Xian was still worried. After all, this matter concerned Murong Qingqing's safety. So he asked again, Hey Tu, do you have anything good that can make this matter safer? In fact, Lin Xian could use the Thousand Beast Cauldron to directly plant a beast slave seal. However, to use the Thousand Beast Cauldron he would have to pay a price. Moreover, if he planted a beast slave seal, this nine-tailed fox would be loyal, but it wouldn't be as cute. This wasn't what Lin Xian wanted. So he asked He Tu to stay. Yes, of course. He Tu tried his best to satisfy Lin Xian's request. He quickly flew away and soon flew back. This time he brought back a scroll. What's this? Lin Xian asked. It was a contract scroll. As long as two people dripped their blood on it, they would form a master-servant contract. However, this nine-tailed fox's talent wasn't very good, and its growth was limited. It was a pity to use this scroll. Hearing this, the nine-tailed fox's ears drooped, and it looked defeated. As a king-level monster, it had never been defeated like this before. Now Budan's pet was taken back, and it was even despised by others. However, Murong Qingqing didn't care too much. In her opinion, king-level monsters were already very terrifying. So, she quickly established a master-servant contract with the nine-tailed fox. Suddenly, the scroll emitted a gentle light that enveloped Murong Qingqing and the nine-tailed fox. In the next moment, Murong Qingqing felt another connection. It was from the nine-tailed fox. The ferocious light in the nine-tailed fox's eyes disappeared and was replaced by a wisp of spiritual light. It even rubbed its furry little head against Murong Qingqing's face. Chapter 1436. The scroll emitted a soft light that enveloped Murong Qingqing and nine-tailed fox. In the next moment, Murong Qingqing felt another connection. It was from nine-tailed fox. The ferocious look in nine-tailed fox's eyes disappeared and was replaced by a touch of wisdom. She even rubbed her furry little head against Murong Qingqing's face. What should I call you? Murong Qingqing smiled and tilted her head. Just call her Little Red, said the dark red dragon. Lin Xian nodded. That's a good name. Hearing that, nine-tailed fox bared her teeth at Lin Xian and the dark red dragon. She kept waving her little claws. I have a name. I'm called Nine-tailed, Nine-tailed fox said fiercely. Nine-tailed, that's a bad name. Murong Qingqing rubbed Nine-tailed fox's head and thought carefully. How about Little Nine? Okay, Little Nine. Nine-tailed fox nodded. Then she rubbed her little head against Murong Qingqing's hand. At that moment, the dark red dragon asked curiously, "Oh right, kid. What were you planning to do with this fox when you caught it?" He was very curious because this fox was not meant to be a pet. Lin Xian should have other uses for it. Oh, isn't the Black Earth lacking energy? I think this fox is a king-level monster after all. It should have powerful energy. I wanted to use it as an energy source, but since Qingqing likes it, I'll let it be a pet. This time, even the dark red dragon god's mouth was agape. Nine-tailed fox rolled her eyes and almost fainted. Be an energy source? What was this guy thinking? Fortunately, it was now a pet. Otherwise, its future would be miserable. Thinking of that, Nine-tailed fox glared at Lin Xian with her black gem-like eyes. Hearing Lin Xian's suggestion, He too kept nodding. That's a good idea, but this nine-tailed fox is still too weak. If you want to use it as an energy source, you have to at least catch a few of them. Forget it. We'll think of a way in the future. We'll find a source of energy eventually, Lin Xian said in a low voice. Because he believed that there would be a way. Kid, what are you planning to do next? The dark red divine dragon asked. The Black Dragon sect's leader is already dead. The Black Dragon sect lives up to its name. However, we still have to clean up the mess. After we eliminate the Black Dragon cult, we will return to the Sky Martial continent. I think it's time to put an end to the Duan family. The Duan clan, huh? The dark red dragon also snorted coldly. This group of people is too arrogant. In the past, this emperor did not pay attention to them. Now that this emperor has entered the king level, this emperor can kill them with a single slap. After settling the matter of the Duan family, are we going to the True Spirit continent? The dark red dragon was very excited. Clearly he was tired of staying here. That's right. When everything here is settled and we find the energy source, we'll set off for the real great world. Next, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon went out again. This time they also brought along Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan. The group boarded the spirit boat from before and quickly left the Devil Abyss. The spirit boat flew into the sky and quickly flew into the distance. This time, their target was the headquarters of the Black Dragon sect. The headquarters of the Black Dragon sect was located in the center of the Tianan region. It occupied a very vast mountain range. This mountain range was the best spirit vein in the entire Tianan region. The spirit chi was very dense. In the mountain range there were countless palaces and pavilions. In the center there was a very large black palace. It stood in front of them like a black dragon sitting there cross-legged. At this moment, the entire Black Dragon sect had set up a layer of defensive formation. Not far from the Black Dragon sect's mountain range, there was also a group of people gathered. Most of these people were elders and there were also some young people. They were looking at the mountain range in the distance with solemn expressions. These people were not weak. They were all in the Venerable Realm. There were even one or two elders who had reached the 9th level of the Venerable Realm. Their clothes had the word martial written on them. Obviously they were from the Martial Alliance. If Lin Shan was here he would definitely recognize these people. This was because a few of these elders were the judges of the Azure Dragon Gathering. Even among the younger generation there were a few that he recognized. One of them was wearing a flame robe. He was extremely handsome and had an arrogant look on his face. He was the Heavenly Fire Prince of the Heavenly Fire sect. The other person was even more domineering. He was burly and looked like a demon king. He was the overlord who ranked first on the Azure Dragon leaderboard, Ba Wuji. These two people's auras were powerful. They were not weaker than those elders at all. Obviously, the Martial Alliance had also obtained some subdivinity crystals. That was why they had so many experts to fight against the Black Dragon sect. However, the Martial Alliance did not have a king, so they had always been suppressed by the Black Dragon sect. This time, they received news that the 8 halls and 4 protectors of the Black Dragon sect had been destroyed. When they heard this they were very shocked. They could not believe it and thought that it was fake news released by the Black Dragon sect. Their goal was to lure them into a trap. However, after many investigations they finally found out that the news was true. Then these people were stunned. They could not believe it. 8 hall masters and 4 protectors. They were all extremely powerful people. Not to mention others, any one of the protectors could defeat all of them. How could such powerful characters be completely annihilated? Who did it? They could not figure it out. Anyway, it was not the Martial Alliance who did it. It's very likely that a martial artist that we don't know about obtained the subdivinity crystals in the demon abyss and absorbed the energy inside. That's why he became so powerful. Ba Wuji said in a deep voice. Hearing this, everyone nodded. They all felt that it made sense. At this moment, among the group of elders, a person called Venerable Qing Lian said, "There's another possibility. It's someone from the Tianwu continent." However, the Tianwu continent has always looked down on the Tianan region. It's impossible for them not to come to our aid. Everyone was talking about the mysterious expert. At this moment, another elder said, "This is a good opportunity for us. I heard that the Black Dragon sect's leader and the left and right emissaries brought a large number of experts and left the Black Dragon sect. If we can take over their headquarters and seize the treasures inside, our martial alliance might become stronger again. I hope so. However, the Black Dragon sect's mountain protection formation is not easy to break. Let's hurry up and do it. Who knows what the Black Dragon sect's leader is doing with so many experts? If they enter the demon abyss again and obtain the subdivinity crystals to create a large number of experts, we'll be completely finished. By then the entire Tianan region will belong to the Black Dragon sect." Hearing this, everyone's heart sank. They took a deep breath and prepared to take action. Chapter 1437. Look, what's that? A young man exclaimed. What are you shouting for? We'll be discovered if you continue like this. Can you bear the responsibility for disrupting our plan? An old man snorted with a gloomy face. Yes, elder. I was wrong. The young man lowered his head and admitted his mistake. However, he insisted, there's really something. Something flew across the sky like lightning. Something flew across the sky? Are you sure? The other old men frowned. Could it be that the people from the Black Dragon sect had returned? This time, they took advantage of the fact that the Black Dragon sect's leader and the other experts were away to launch a sneak attack. If the other party's experts returned, their plan would fail. Hence, everyone's face turned solemn. Xiaoping cultivates eye techniques. Although his cultivation isn't the best, he should be able to see things correctly. This time, Venerable Green Lotus also spoke. He was the leader of this operation. Hence, once Venerable Green Lotus spoke, the others fell silent. Xiaoping, tell me, what exactly did you see? Was it someone from the Black Dragon sect? Elder, I didn't see it clearly. I only saw a flash of light. However, from the aura it emitted, it didn't seem like someone from the Black Dragon sect. Even you didn't see it clearly? Venerable Green Lotus was surprised. He knew that Xiaoping cultivated a type of eye technique. His eyesight was extremely accurate. In this aspect he was not inferior to the old men. In fact, he was even stronger. However, at this moment even he did not see it clearly. It was unbelievable. Where did that thing go? Venerable Green Lotus thought of a possibility and asked quickly. It's the Black Dragon sect's headquarters. Venerable Green Lotus gasped when he heard that. His expression was uncertain, as if he was thinking about something. At this moment, Crown Prince Heavenly Flame asked in a deep voice, Elder, is there something wrong? Other than the Martial Alliance, only the Black Dragon sect has such means. However, that thing doesn't belong to the Martial Alliance. I'm afraid it doesn't belong to the Black Dragon sect either. However, there should be another expert from the Tianan region. You mean the mysterious expert who killed the 8 Hall Masters and the 4 Great Protectors? Infinite Tyrant said coldly. Yes, that's right. It's him. Venerable Green Lotus nodded. In the next moment, everyone was shocked and their eyes widened. What? Could it really be that mysterious expert? Is he going to attack the headquarters of the Black Dragon cult? Everyone was extremely shocked. Originally, with the number of people they had, even if they wanted to break through the defensive formation outside the Black Dragon sect, it would still take a very long time. But now, if a mysterious expert came, their efficiency would be greatly increased. Let's go and take a look. Venerable Green Lotus pondered for a moment and finally said in a deep voice. Then he waved his hand and led the group carefully toward the mountain range in front of them. On the other side, Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Luo Bingshan were riding on a spirit boat and flying ahead at high speed. Master, up ahead is the headquarters of the Black Dragon cult. Luo Bingshan looked down at the mountain range and quickly reported. Have we arrived? Hearing this, Lin Xian woke up from his cultivation and opened his eyes to look below. The Black Dragon cult is ruthless and cruel. In the past few years of their rise, they have caused great suffering in the Tianan region. It's time to get rid of this evil cult, Lin Xian said coldly. That's easy. Watch me. The dark red divine dragon also looked down. Is this the nest of the dragon? How extravagant. The dark red divine dragon's eyes turned and then shouted down. Listen up, your Black Dragon cult leader is dead. Hurry up and open the mountain gate. Kneel down and wait for your punishment. Otherwise, you'll be dead when we attack. This voice was like a clap of thunder that quickly spread to the people below. Instantly, everyone within a 10,000-mile radius heard it. The formation of the Black Dragon cult below trembled and produced a rumbling sound. Search. 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 In an instant, countless black-robed martial artists rushed out of the countless palaces and pavilions in the mountain range in front of them. They looked up at the sky with cold expressions. Who is it? How dare you cause trouble in our Black Dragon cult? You're courting death. Hurry up and come here to die. I can leave you with an intact corpse. Otherwise, if you provoke the Black Dragon cult, we'll kill all of you. Countless Black Dragon cult martial artists looked up at the sky and shouted coldly. To be honest, in their opinion, the other party was too arrogant. How dare he cause trouble above the Black Dragon cult? This was something that had never happened before. Even the Martial Alliance did not dare to be so arrogant. The people of the Martial Alliance below also stopped and looked up at the sky. It's really that mysterious expert. Elder, should we attack? Someone asked. Supremacy Green Lotus shook his head. No need. Let's wait and see. Humph, a bunch of ants. Your cult leader is dead and you still dare to be so arrogant? Believe it or not, I'll slap all of you to death. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon snorted again. What? The Black Dragon cult leader is dead? Hearing this, everyone was stunned. The people of the Martial Alliance were also shocked. They widened their eyes in disbelief. The disciples of the Black Dragon cult were stunned at first. Then they burst into laughter. Aha, idiot kid. Do you know what you're saying? Our cult leader is a king. No one can compare to him. How dare you say he's dead? What a joke. How dare you curse our cult leader? Kneel down and accept your death. The group of people shouted arrogantly. They did not believe that their cult leader would be killed. Even Venerable Blue Lotus and the Crown Prince were frowning. What did he say? The Black Dragon cult leader is dead? How is that possible? The group of people shook their heads. The Black Dragon cult leader was a king. They could only look up to him. How could such a person be killed? Crown Prince Heavenly Flame sneered. What expert? I think he's just a braggart. How dare he say that the Black Dragon cult leader is dead? Does he know what the Black Dragon cult leader's cultivation is? Even the people of the Martial Alliance could not believe it, let alone the disciples of the Black Dragon cult. Perhaps no one in the entire Tianan region would believe that the Black Dragon cult leader was killed. Sigh, what a bunch of ignorant people. On the spiritual vessel, the dark red divine dragon shook his head and sighed. Lin Xian frowned as well. Since they're so stubborn, let's just do it. Nine-tailed, blast open the defensive formation below. Nine-tailed fox was sleeping in Murong Qingqing's arms. When she heard Lin Xian's words, she opened her eyes reluctantly. Ever since he recognized Lin Xian as his master, Tian's cultivation had returned to the king's stage. Chapter 1438. An arm that was thousands of meters long fell from the sky like the palm of a demon. Boom. In the next moment, the red arm slammed into the defensive array below, causing an earth-shattering explosion. The entire mountain range, within a radius of 1,000 miles, began to tremble violently. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The earth trembled and countless cracks spread out in all directions like the mouth of an abyss. At this moment, everyone was terrified. Block it. You must block it. Countless experts in the Black Dragon religion shouted angrily. More people quickly activated the array to defend. Their scalps went numb and they were shocked. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful that a slap could almost break through the defensive array. In the mountain range far away, Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, and the others widened their eyes in disbelief. What kind of technique was that? How could it be so terrifying? What was going on with that 1,000-meter-long arm? It was as if a god had stretched out his arm from the sky. It was too terrifying. Rumble. Rumble. Crack. 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 Under everyone's shocked gaze, the arm smashed through the defensive array and headed towards the Black Dragon religion. Suddenly, several mountains were shattered and gravel flew everywhere. The earth sank as if there was an earthquake. Retreat, retreat quickly. Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, and Ba Wuji quickly retreated. This was because the place where they were originally standing had suddenly cracked open. The entire ground was overturned and ruptured, forming a ruin. This was only the periphery. In the center of the mountain range, the entire Black Dragon religion was completely destroyed. Hundreds of mountains were razed to the ground and the Black Dragon Hall in the center was penetrated by a slap. The ground caved in for 10,000 meters. The disciples of the demonic religion were even more miserable. They had no chance to escape from the slap. In an instant, their bodies exploded and turned into blood mist. The earth sank and boulders flew everywhere. Blood mist filled the air and the pungent smell of blood instantly spread out. When the blood-red palm disappeared, the entire Black Dragon religion was razed to the ground. Not only that, but a bottomless abyss appeared on the ground. It was as if it was connected to the 9 Netherhell. Most of the martial artists of the Black Dragon religion were killed by the slap. However, a small number of them escaped the calamity. At this moment they were lying on the ground and twitching. Their faces were abnormally pale. Fear, deep fear. The slap just now was too terrifying. It was as if it was an apocalyptic slap that destroyed the entire Black Dragon religion in an instant. This technique was too terrifying. They had never seen it before. Even the left and right emissaries could not use it. Only their Black Dragon religious leader was capable of such a feat. However, the other party was also able to do so. This meant that the other party's strength was definitely extremely powerful. At the very least, it exceeded their understanding. It was very likely that he was the legendary king. Is the religion king religion? Seeing this scene of the Black Dragon religion, they now believed that the Black Dragon religion of the Black Dragon. Otherwise, the other party wouldn't have dared to directly attack their headquarters. In the distance, Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, Infinite Tyrant, and the others were extremely shocked and their scalps went numb. They were of the black of the demonic religion. God, just what kind of technique was this? With just a single slap, the Black Dragon sect and the entire mountain range were destroyed. This method was too terrifying. A king? He must be a king. Otherwise, it's impossible for him to have such means. The group of elders had terrified looks on their faces. Venerable Green Lotus also took a deep breath. From the looks of it, the Black Dragon religious leader might really have been killed. Thinking of this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. Their scalps went numb in disbelief. That was a peerless savage whose might shook the entire southern sky region. He was actually killed by someone. This was a shocking event. Look, someone is coming down. At this time, the disciple called Zhao Ping pointed to the sky and exclaimed, "That's right, it's that thing. It was the sky that streaked across the sky just now." Upon hearing this, Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, and the others looked ahead. In the next moment, a huge spirit ship descended rapidly from the sky palace. However, the spirit boat did not land on the ground. Instead, it stopped 100 meters above the ground. Then, several figures came down from the spirit boat like lightning and appeared on the surface of the sea. These people were also floating in the air. There was no ground in front of them. It was a bottomless abyss. These people were naturally Lin Xian and the others. Luo Bingshan frowned and looked into the distance coldly. Who is it? Come out. In fact, it was not only him. Lin Xian, Mu Qingqing, and the others also felt that there was a strong aura in the distance and there were quite a few of them. They did not know who it was, but if it was the Black Dragon religious leader they would definitely not let it go. Oh no, we've been discovered. Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, and the others turned pale. This was because the cold snort in front of them had exploded in their ears. Obviously they had been discovered. Since they had destroyed the Black Dragon religious leader, they should not be evil people. Venerable Green Lotus took a deep breath and flew out quickly. He shouted, "Don't do anything. We're not from the Black Dragon religious leader." Seeing Venerable Green Lotus appear, the others also took a deep breath and quickly followed behind him. Then, nearly 50 to 60 martial artists all rose into the air and appeared in the sky. Master? Luo Bingshan looked at Lin Xian with a questioning look in her eyes. However, her hand was still holding the long saber at her waist. As long as Lin Xian gave the order, she would definitely take action immediately. However, Lin Xian shook his head slightly. He looked at the people in the distance and revealed a surprised look. Don't do anything. They're not from the Black Dragon religious leader. In front, Venerable Green Lotus, Infinite Tyrant, Prince Heavenly Flame, and the others were also flying carefully. Soon they saw the scene in front of them. In the void there were 4 figures floating. The one in front was a young man of about 20 years old. He was tall and handsome. He wore a green shirt and there was a snow-white monkey on his shoulder. Beside the young man was a red snake. It stood in the void and bared its fangs and claws. It was a very strange sight. On the other side of the young man was a lady in purple. She was beautiful like a fairy. In her arms was a furry little fox. It had 9 tails. Beside her was a mysterious lady in a black robe. She wore a golden mask on her face that shone coldly under the sun. The man and the 2 ladies were all about 20 years old. They were very young. What? Venerable Green Lotus and the others were shocked. They did not expect the other party to be so young. Chapter 1439. Not only Venerable Green Lotus, but everyone in the Martial Alliance was also suspicious. They did not believe that such a young man could be a challenger. One had to know that this was something that was simply impossible. However, when they looked at the cultivation of the other party they were shocked. Their faces turned pale and many of them even trembled. Terrifying, extremely terrifying. Everyone's aura was as deep as the abyss, unfathomable. Especially the red snake at the side, it had an aura that made their hearts palpitate. Who are these people? They felt numb and did not dare to act rashly. We're not from the Black Dragon sect. We're from the Martial Alliance. We're here to ambush the Black Dragon sect. Venerable Green Lotus took a deep breath and explained quickly. He did not want to be misunderstood. If the other party attacked they would have no chance of survival. I know. Don't worry. Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, Infinite Tyrant, long time no see. Where's Zhou Jianying? Why don't I see her? Xian said calmly. Venerable Green Lotus, Prince Heavenly Flame, and Infinite Tyrant were shocked. They could not believe it. They did not expect the other party to know him. Therefore, in the next moment, the 3 of them quickly raised their heads and carefully looked ahead. Then their heads exploded. You are? It's you. Everyone was shocked. They were too frightened previously and did not notice the other party's appearance. Now that they took a closer look, the young man in front of them was looking at them with a smile. It's you, Lin Xian. It's you? Prince Heavenly Flame screamed in shock. As for the people behind him, they all looked at each other in dismay. Many of them even revealed puzzled expressions. What's going on? Could it be that Prince Heavenly Flame knows the person in front? Ba Wuji sucked in a breath of cold air. His eyes widened in disbelief. Venerable Green Lotus's body began to tremble. Lin Xian? Who is he? Elder, you know him? The others asked. Venerable Green Lotus sighed. He's Lin Xian. He's from the Tianan region. What? He's from the Tianan region? Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. Since when did such a powerful figure appear in their Tianan region? At this moment, Venerable Green Lotus continued, he was the champion of the previous Azure Dragon Association, but after that he left the Heavenly South region. I didn't expect it to appear again. What? He was the champion of the previous Azure Dragon Society. Everyone cried out in surprise. Soon after, many people recalled something. Right, that's right, it's him, it's really him. I saw him at the Azure Dragon Society last time, but I didn't think it would really be him. Among these Martial League members, a small portion of them had survived back then, while most of them had risen in recent years. Therefore, although most people did not recognize Lin Xian, a small number of people recognized him after being reminded by Elder Green Lotus. Immediately these people cried out in surprise. Soon they learned of Lin Xian's experience. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air as they stared ahead in disbelief. Lin Xian, is the Black Dragon Hierarch really dead? At this moment, Elder Green Lotus asked again. To be honest, he could not believe this news. After all, the Black Dragon Hierarch was an extremely terrifying existence. He had to be sure. Yes, he's dead. I killed him. Lin Xian nodded. What? You killed him? Everyone's mouths were wide open. They were all shocked by this news. That was too fucking shocking. A 20-year-old young man had actually killed the overlord of the Tianan region. Everyone swallowed their saliva. Even Overlord Wuji asked in a trembling voice, Lin Xian, are you already a king tier? Lin Xian shook his head. Not yet, but killing a king tier isn't difficult. Everyone's mind went blank. They only wanted to vomit blood. Killing a king tier isn't difficult? Why did it sound like a dream? Forget it, I won't ask anymore. Otherwise, my heart won't be able to take it. Everyone shook their heads. On the other hand, Lin Xian ordered Luo Bingshan to cripple all the surviving Black Dragon Hierarch martial artists' cultivation. Luo Bingshan nodded. Then she waved her arm. Countless rays of saber light flew out from her fingertips. They quickly spread out in all directions and sank into the bodies of the Black Dragon Hierarch martial artists. Instantly, a series of miserable screams rang out. In an instant, those who were still alive had their cultivation crippled. Lin Xian did not kill them. However, crippling their cultivation could prevent them from doing evil in the future. The Black Dragon Hierarch's base camp has been destroyed. There should be some remaining forces in other places. I'll leave the rest to the Martial Alliance. Lin Xian turned around again and looked at Venerable Green Lotus. Don't worry. We'll definitely take care of the rest. Venerable Green Lotus quickly nodded. They were already at odds with the Black Dragon Hierarch. Even without Lin Xian's order, they would have gathered all their forces to eradicate the Black Dragon Hierarch in other places. Now that they had Lin Xian's help, it was like adding wings to a tiger. Lin Xian pondered for a moment before speaking again in a deep voice. The Tianan region has been plunged into misery and suffering for a long time. I don't want something similar to happen again. As he spoke, Lin Xian exuded a terrifying aura. It was as though a divine sword had been unsheathed and was incomparably sharp. Furthermore, the Xia country is my hometown. I don't want anything to happen to it in the future. As for the demonic abyss, there were no more subdivine gems in it. There was no need to waste time looking for them. I hope that the Martial Alliance can lead the Tianan region and build a prosperous world. However, I don't want you to become another Black Dragon Hierarch. Although Lin Xian did not have any obvious intention of threatening them, Venerable Green Lotus and the rest were still trembling in fear. That was because the aura was too terrifying. It was as though a god was looking down on them. Don't worry. We definitely won't become the second Black Dragon Hierarch. Venerable Green Lotus quickly shook his head. Lin Xian nodded and retracted his aura. He did not stay there any longer. Instead, he turned around and flew away with Murong Qingqing and the rest onto the spiritual boat in the sky. Then, the spiritual boat shone brightly and turned into a bolt of lightning, instantly leaving the place. Venerable Green Lotus and the rest only heaved a sigh of relief after Lin Xian and the rest had left for a long time. Then they slumped onto the ground. Terrifying. It was simply too terrifying. The group of seniors turned pale. He's already so powerful? Crown Prince Heavenly Flame's body was also trembling slightly. He did not expect that a person whose strength was similar to his back then would grow to such an extent after a few years. He could only look up to him. Overlord Infinite G sighed as his heart was filled with helplessness. On the other hand, Venerable Green Lotus took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "Remember what I said today. Don't become the second Black Dragon Hierarch. Otherwise our doomsday will come." Everyone nodded heavily and did not dare to act rashly. They had no choice. The scene of the Black Dragon Hierarch being annihilated was simply too terrifying. They would probably never forget it for the rest of their lives. Don't go to the Devil Abyss. According to what we know now, those whose cultivation has not reached the King Realm will only be courting death if they enter. Instead of angering Lin Xian, why don't we withdraw all of our people from the Xia country? Got it? I'll do it as soon as I return. Also, immediately mobilize all of our forces when we return and launch a counterattack. We must eliminate the remaining forces of the Black Dragon Hierarch. Chapter 1440. Lin Xian and the rest easily annihilated the Black Dragon sect's headquarters and quickly returned. The Black Dragon sect's sect leader had been killed. Not only that, the entire Black Dragon sect's left and right envoys, the 4 great protectors, and the 8 hall masters were all killed. It could be said that the Black Dragon sect's elites were all gone. You didn't need to worry about the rest. With the Martial Alliance's power, they could definitely get rid of them. Hence, Lin Xian's thoughts were no longer on the Tianan region. He was prepared to return to the Jianghu continent. Firstly, he wanted to see if his father had come out of seclusion. Secondly, he wanted to get rid of his enemy, the Duan clan. Otherwise, he wouldn't be at ease moving the Lin clan members to the Jianghu continent. Soon, Lin Xian and the rest returned to the Black Earth. This time, Lin Xian's main purpose was to instruct He Tu to take good care of Old Master Lin and the rest of the Lin clan members. Little Xian, don't worry. We're very safe here. Moreover, this place is very suitable for cultivation, Old Master Lin said with a smile. Yes, we'll wait for your safe return, Second Uncle Lin said with a smile. Next, Lin Xian left behind some natural treasures. He even took out some old tea for Old Master Lin and the rest to consume. When everything was ready, he brought Murong Qingqing, the falling ice mountain, and the dark red divine dragon onto the spirit boat and quickly left the Xia country. This time his departure was similar to when he came. However, his cultivation had undergone a drastic change. Other than that, there were a few more things. There was a 9-tailed demon fox and he took away 30 subdivine crystals. As for the rest, he left them all on the Black Earth. According to his calculations, to return to the Jianghu continent, they would have to cross the endless ocean. This would take more than half a year. Hence, Lin Xian and the rest began to cultivate as soon as they arrived. Although Lin Xian had the king domain now, he didn't relax. After all, his cultivation wasn't at the king realm yet. He had to raise his cultivation to the king realm as soon as possible. Only then would his strength increase again. Lin Xian didn't need subdivinity crystals to improve his cultivation base. Therefore, he quickly circulated the longevity incantation to cultivate. At the same time, he was also multitasking, cultivating the Furious Dragon Mantra and the Heavenly Divination Visualization Chart. Of these 2 techniques, one cultivated the body while the other cultivated the soul. They could turn him into an all-round expert. Not only that, but Lin Xian also spent a lot of time and effort researching the king's domain. After all, this was his main source of energy in the future. Now, his horizons were much broader than before, and he knew that there were 9 great realms. Above the king realm, there were saints and the legendary great emperor. The king realm cultivated domains, whereas at the saint realm, one cultivated a world, and one was able to establish a minor world that was independent of a large world. Lin Xian knew that the small world was evolved from the domain. Therefore, Lin Xian tried to throw his various martial spirits into the Dragon Sword domain to evolve. Just like that, time passed little by little. At the same time, the situation in the Jianghu continent was also changing. Primeval forest, deep in the canyon. The heavenly netherbird laughed maniacally again. There were only 2 astral chains left on its body. It seemed that it wouldn't be long before the restrictions on the astral chains were completely broken. At that time, it would become a peerless beast once again. Ha! Only 2 left. Bratlin, just you wait. One day I'll tear you apart with my own hands. A ferocious voice rang out from the depths of the canyon, as if a demon was roaring. No one knew about the heavenly netherbird's changes because it hid it too well. However, another gust of wind blew across the Jianghu continent. The great situation that Lin Xian had built up previously collapsed in an instant. The alliance that was built with the help of the longevity pill and old-time tea also collapsed. Many people left Lin Xian's side and joined the Duan family. It could be said that the situation in the Palace of Gods of War had become extremely tense and dangerous. Luckily, Wang Li, Yufei, Dongfang Xiong and the others had already left the Jianghu continent. They had long since retreated to the Immortal Martial Academy and weren't in any danger. However, their businesses had suffered a serious blow. There was only one reason for this change. The Duan family's patriarch had come out of seclusion. Not only that, he had successfully entered the king realm and became a king. A king realm was an extremely powerful existence. There were only a few of them in the Jianghu continent. Every one of them was an expert that stood at the pinnacle of the continent. Now, there was another king realm expert. This was something that had not happened in the Jianghu continent for thousands of years. Because the Duan family's patriarch had become a king realm expert, the entire Jianghu continent had undergone a drastic change. No matter how miraculous the longevity pill was, it was not as threatening as a king realm expert. Now who would dare to ally with Lin Xian's side? That would be courting death. One had to know that Lin Xian had not appeared in the Jianghu continent for a long time. No one knew where he had gone. There were even rumors that he had left the Jianghu continent. On the Palace of Gods of War's side, Lin Zhan was still in seclusion. Therefore the entire Palace of Gods of War had lost its backbone. The rest of the people were unable to withstand the fury of a king realm expert. Especially when the Duan family's patriarch found out that his grandson, young Master Ling Feng, had been killed, he was extremely furious. Therefore the first thing he did after coming out of seclusion was to issue a kill order. He swore that he would capture Lin Xian and tear him into pieces. For a time the world was in an uproar. Because this was the fury of a king realm expert. Millions of corpses would be laid and blood would flow for thousands of miles. Immediately many people started to worry for Lin Xian. However, the Duan family's allies were sneering. They had long disliked Lin Xian. Now that they saw him being hunted down, they were naturally happy. On the other hand, the Palace of Gods of War and the Immortal Martial Academy were worried. But fortunately, what made them feel slightly relieved was that Lin Xian was not in the Jianghu continent at the moment. Therefore the kill order was useless for the time being. However, the Duan family's patriarch becoming a king realm expert was a troublesome matter. This was because the current Duan clan could no longer be compared to before. It was a true king clan. Therefore after a mere 3 days the Palace of Gods of War changed owners again. Those people from before were directly beaten out, while the Duan family directly moved in and became the new owner. This time the Duan family's patriarch personally took action. Therefore the Palace of Gods of War suffered heavy losses. Many elders and experts died. Fortunately, the Immortal Martial Academy intervened in time and saved the majority. Otherwise, the Palace of Gods of War's losses would be even worse. Damn it, really damn it. The remaining forces of the Palace of Gods of War all retreated to the Immortal Martial Academy. Among them, the 9th Elder and the 10th Elder were so angry that they vomited blood. They had no choice. They really did not expect that the Duan family's patriarch could break through and become a true king realm expert. Chapter 1441. Now, even if we start a war with him, I'm afraid we won't be able to do anything to him. Din Xian shook his head. After all, the strength of a true king was too terrifying. Unless Lin Zhan comes out of seclusion. But now, I don't know when he will come out of seclusion. A group of people shook their heads and sighed. The elders of War God Red were even more worried. This was because the current situation was simply too terrible. We're not worried about the palace master. That formation is too terrifying. Even a king can't break it. However, we're very worried about the young master. Those people from the Duan clan have given the kill order. Now, many experts are frantically looking for the young master. Although they can't find him now, if the young master doesn't know the situation when he comes back, he will definitely be discovered. At that time, if the young master is in any danger, we're really finished. The 9th Elder and the rest were anxious. They decided to secretly look for Lin Xian. At least they had to send out the news. The rise of the Duan clan's old ancestor caused a huge change in the Jianghu continent. Not only that, he first gave the kill order and went all out to hunt down Lin Xian. Not long after, he released another piece of news. It was naturally a celebration. The Duan clan's old ancestor had become a king. This was a huge event that shook the world. Firstly, it was to display the strength of the Duan clan. Secondly, it was to redistribute the benefits. Although there were many factions and countries in the Jianghu continent, behind them stood the powerful clans. In other words, the king clans were the overlords of the Jianghu continent. In the past, the structure of the Jianghu continent had already been formed. There were no changes for thousands of years. However, it was different now. A new king had appeared, and the Duan clan naturally became a king clan. They naturally wanted a share of the benefits. In fact, the Duan clan's thoughts were very simple. They wanted to replace the War God Palace and become the true overlord. As for the resources of the War God Palace, they naturally wanted to replace them. However, in recent years the War God Palace had consumed a lot of resources due to the internal conflicts. Therefore this time they wanted to take back everything that they had lost. This banquet could be said to be the most prestigious one in the past 1,000 years. This banquet didn't just invite the elders of the 6th rank sections. It was a true king. At that time, the Murong clan, Shin clan, Immortal Martial Academy, Mary Woods and other king clans would all come. It could be said that being able to attend the Duan clan's banquet represented a certain level of strength. Of course, the Duan clan's patriarch had another idea, and that was to form an alliance. It didn't mean that one wouldn't have enemies after becoming a king. Furthermore, he was a new king. His strength was naturally weaker than those old king-level kings. More importantly, Lin Zhan was still alive. This was his greatest enemy. If the other party came out of seclusion, then he would be his greatest enemy. Therefore, he had to form an alliance in advance and find good helpers to deal with future changes. It would be best if they could join forces at the banquet and directly destroy the place where the other party was in seclusion. Kill Lin Zhan. This news swept through the entire Sky Martial continent like a hurricane. For a time, all the major forces quickly took action. Not only that, the action of the Duan clan did not end. Firstly, they were wantonly hunting down Lin Xian's tracks. As long as they found him, they would immediately kill him. Furthermore, the forces that had a good relationship with Lin Xian in the past were all suppressed. Even the deity Sword Villa was suppressed. Because in front of a king, even the powerful deity Sword Villa and Sword Honorable couldn't resist. The forces of the Immortal Martial Academy were also affected to a certain extent. Fortunately, the Immortal Martial Academy was a king's force after all. With a king suppressing them, the Duan clan didn't dare to go overboard. However, their small actions were continuous. However, just as the situation was changing, a spirit boat flew over from the sea. This spirit boat was very fast and had been flying at an extremely high altitude. Therefore, when it entered the Sky Martial continent, no one noticed it. This spirit boat was naturally Lin Xian's. When they entered the Sky Martial continent, everyone opened their eyes. We're finally back. Murong Qingqing looked at the familiar mountains and rivers below and smiled. Even the nine-tailed fox in her arms looked down curiously. So strong. I can feel several powerful forces here. Are they all kings? It shrank its head. It didn't expect there to be such strong people in the Sky Martial continent. Their auras had surpassed it. Not only that, the spiritual energy in this continent was even denser, which surprised it. One had to know that it could cultivate now. Therefore, the spiritual energy here was very important to it. Yes, we're back. I wonder what kind of changes have taken place here? Lin Xian also looked down at the mountains and rivers below, his eyes shining. Kid, where are we going first? The dark red divine dragon asked. Let's go back to the Immortal Martial Academy first. Lin Xian thought for a while and said slowly. Then the group increased their speed and flew towards the Immortal Martial Academy. The Sky Martial continent was very vast. It was a few times bigger than the Tianan region. Therefore, the journey was very long. It would probably take more than a month. Therefore, Lin Xian went into seclusion again. However, the dark red divine dragon, nine-tailed fox, and snow-white monkey didn't go into seclusion. Among them, the bright red divine dragon was sleeping at the side, while nine-tailed fox was looking down curiously. After all, this place was a new world to it. But soon, it furrowed its brows and ground its teeth. Because with its king's soul power, it could naturally hear the discussions below. Therefore, along the way it found many people looking around with cold expressions, as if they were looking for something. And from those people's words, it kept hearing the name Lin Xian. Lin Xian? Could it be someone with the same name? Nine-tailed fox didn't understand why these people were looking for Lin Xian. Therefore, it went to ask the dark red dragon and the snow-white monkey. After hearing that, the dark red dragon said lazily, there's definitely someone with the same name. But if you want to talk about the famous Lin Xian in the continent, you can only use the one in front of you. Why are you asking this? Now that they were familiar with each other, they didn't have the same hostility as before. I saw many people below. They're all looking for Lin Xian. Nine-tailed fox spread out its little paws. Is he a fugitive? Why are there so many people looking for him? What? There's such a thing? Let me see. The dark red divine dragon jumped up and looked down. To be honest, it didn't believe that such a thing would happen. After all, Lin Xian was the young master of the Palace of Gods of War. How could he be wanted? Unless something unexpected had happened here. As expected, the dark red divine dragon looked around and found the same thing. On the mountains and rivers below, there were countless martial artists looking for Lin Xian's whereabouts. Chapter 1442. To be honest, the dragon didn't believe that something like this would happen. After all, Lin Xian was the young master of the Palace of Gods of War. His status was extremely high. How could he be wanted? Unless something unexpected had happened here. Sure enough, the dark red divine dragon also discovered the same thing. Countless cultivators were searching for Lin Xian's whereabouts in the mountains and rivers below. Damn. What's going on? The dragon knew that something had happened. It quickly knocked on Lin Xian's door and informed him. When Lin Xian heard this, he probed further. His face immediately darkened. Brat, what's going on? It wasn't like this when we left. It's only been 2 or 3 years. How could there be such a huge change? The dragon asked. The Duan clan. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He didn't need to think to know that it was the Duan clan's doing. Because in the Sky Martial continent, only the Duan clan would dare to go against him. However, before he left, the Duan clan had already suffered heavy losses. The entire clan had even sealed itself. He didn't expect that the other party would be so high profile as to hunt him down. Something unexpected must have happened. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Since the other party dares to be so arrogant, it means that they don't fear our alliance at all. Damn it. Could it be that the Duan clan's ancestor? Lin Xian suddenly thought of a possibility. His face darkened. As soon as he thought of this, Lin Xian could not sit still. Because if this was true, then it would be terrible. His alliance would definitely collapse in an instant. Not only that, but the Palace of Gods of War would also be in danger. Ruffian Long, quickly go down and capture a few people for me. Lin Xian's voice was urgent. Even Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan came out and asked. When they learned about the situation, their expressions turned grave. You mean that the Duan clan's ancestor succeeded? Yes. There's only one reason why the Duan clan dares to be so arrogant. Other than that, I can't think of any other possibilities. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. It can't be, right? If the Duan family's old ancestor really succeeds, then this will be the most shocking event in the Jianghu continent in the past few thousand years. Murong Qingqing's expression was also grave. She naturally knew the serious consequences of this matter. Perhaps the entire martial heaven continent situation would change. Soon, the dark red divine dragon returned and brought 2 warriors with him. These 2 martial artists were the ones who had been searching below, but they had been suddenly beaten senseless and brought to the surface. At this moment, they were woken up by the dark red dragon and immediately shouted arrogantly. You're courting death. How dare you kidnap us? Do you know who we are? We're from the Duan clan. If you offend us, you'll have to bear the consequences. This attitude is very arrogant. It's almost the same as the Black Dragon sect. Didn't your Duan clan go into hiding a few years ago? Why are you running out to be so arrogant now? The dark red divine dragon asked coldly. The 2 of them still did not understand their situation and immediately looked at the dark red divine dragon as if he was looking at an idiot. You must be new here, right? You don't even know our Duan clan? Listen up, our Duan clan is a new king clan. We're the overlord of this continent. Quickly let us go and kneel down and kowtow. Otherwise, if you anger our Duan clan, you'll definitely regret it for the rest of your life. What, a new king clan? Hearing this, Lin Xian's face darkened. Murong Qingqing and Luo Bingshan were also greatly shocked. They knew that things were as they had guessed. The Duan clan's old ancestor had really become a king. You're saying that the Duan clan's old ancestor has become a king? When did this happen? Lin Xian asked coldly. How dare you? Is my old ancestor's name something you can say? That person shouted coldly. But in the next moment he was stunned. Soon, a trace of shock appeared in his eyes. He pointed at Lin Xian and his body trembled. It's you. You're that Lin Xian. They had portraits in their hands and Lin Xian was the person they wanted to capture, so they knew him very well. However, they did not expect him to appear at this time. It's really you? Kid, you're dead meat. How dare you provoke our Duan clan? This time no one can save you. Hurry up and kneel down and follow us back obediently. Perhaps we can leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, everyone related to you will be killed. The 2 of them roared crazily with arrogant expressions. On the other hand, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then, with a wave of his hand, the 2 of them immediately broke their legs with a crack. In the next moment, the 2 of them knelt on the ground. Large droplets of sweat flowed from their heads. You're courting death. How dare you hurt us? You're dead meat. The 2 of them were still roaring crazily. However, in the next moment, a powerful palm directly grabbed their heads. Very soon the two of them felt a piercing pain in their souls. Their eyes rolled back and they lost consciousness. Lin Xian used the soul-searching technique and directly collected their souls. Then he snorted coldly. 2 balls of black fire floated out from his body and burned the two of them to ashes. Since they were enemies, Lin Xian would not show mercy. How is it? Murong Qingqing asked from the side. The Duan clan's patriarch really became a challenger. In fact, he just became a challenger a few months ago. At this point, Lin Xian's face became extremely cold. Damn it. How dare he massacre the people of the Palace of Ares? He found out everything that had happened in the past few months from the souls of the two of them. When he found out that the Duan clan's patriarch had given the order to kill him and everyone related to him, Lin Xian's face instantly became extremely cold. Especially when he found out that the Palace of Ares had suffered heavy losses again and had no choice but to retreat. Lin Xian exuded an extremely terrifying murderous aura. He did not expect that the Duan clan's patriarch would dare to attack the Palace of Ares. This made him extremely furious. Old dog of the Duan clan, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Then, he quickly controlled the spirit boat and flew towards the Palace of Ares. Instantly, the entire spirit boat exploded with an extremely bright light. It turned into a bolt of lightning and instantly streaked across the sky. It was like a sharp sword that sliced through the void. In the Jianghu continent, the Duan clan's banquet was getting closer and closer. The entire Jianghu continent was bustling with activity. Not only that, the Duan clan had also gained a lot recently. Because they were frantically searching for Lin Xian, the 9th elder, and the rest were very worried. Therefore they secretly came out to search for Lin Xian. Unexpectedly, they were discovered by the Duan clan and immediately arrested and sent back to the Palace of Ares. When the Duan clan's patriarch and the martial supremacy found out, they sneered sinisterly. They decided to kill the 9th elder and the rest of the Palace of Ares at the banquet. Chapter 1443. Duan Family Palace of War Gods. Ever since the news of the Duan family's ancestor becoming a king spread, all the forces in Jianghu continent started to move. Today it was still close to the Duan family's banquet, and many people had already arrived. It had to be said that the level of this banquet was very high, and it was absolutely terrifying. The entire Palace of War Gods was filled with martial experts. These people all walked like dragons and tigers and their auras were dense. It could be said that they were the elites of Jianghu continent. Those forces that had always relied on the Duan family were extremely happy because this time they could also rise and obtain great benefits. And those forces that had always been neutral wanted to join the Duan family, this new king family. They might even be put in an important position. Of course, when the Duan family was mentioned, the Palace of War Gods and Lin Xian had to be mentioned. Because just a few years ago, Lin Xian had personally killed young Master Ling Feng, who was the future hope of the Duan family. This could be said to be an irreconcilable hatred, and when the Duan family's ancestor came out of seclusion, he issued a kill order, swearing to kill Lin Xian. However, after such a long time, there was still no trace of Lin Xian, which shocked everyone. Some people even guessed that Lin Xian was no longer in Jianghu continent. Otherwise, with the Duan family's current strength and prestige, it was impossible for them to not find him. Don't worry, as long as that brat is here, he will definitely come. Because at this Duan family's banquet, many elders of the Palace of War Gods will be publicly killed. Yeah, I heard about it too. I'm afraid the Duan family's goal is to lure Lin Xian out. No matter what the outcome is, that Lin Xian is finished. He will definitely be killed if he appears, but if he doesn't appear, he will definitely become a coward and be despised by everyone. Yeah, this Lin Xian can be considered unlucky. 2 or 3 years ago, his name shook Jianghu continent, and he could be said to be one of the top geniuses of the younger generation. With his strength alone, the entire Duan family couldn't raise their heads. But who would have thought that in a short 2 or 3 years, the situation would change so drastically? This is also because the Duan family's ancestor is powerful, to actually break through and become a king. This is something that has never happened in the Sky Martial continent for thousands of years. In the cities near the Palace of Ares, there were warriors discussing similar topics everywhere. Now, everyone respected the Duan clan. No one cared about Lin Xian and the remaining forces of the Palace of Ares. The Palace of Gods of War was majestic and domineering. Countless palaces covered the mountains. It was surrounded by spiritual mountains and immortal grass. Between the towering mountains and precipitous ridges, Countless pavilions were arranged like stars. Although the internal strife over the years had caused the Palace of Ares to expend quite a bit of its strength, there was still no one who could shake this colossus. And the region it occupied was one of the most fertile regions in the Sky Martial continent. At this moment, all the experts of the Martial Heaven continent were gathering the war god art. Whether it was the older generation's experts or the younger generation's geniuses, they were all gathered. In fact, the kings of the various king clans would also appear at the final banquet. It could be said that this was a scene that made countless people excited. After all, it was rare to see a king tier in ordinary times, but this time there would be 5 king tiers. Looking at this grand scene, the Duan clan's ancestor was very happy. He did not appear personally. Instead, he sent out martial honors and the younger generation's disciples to welcome them. They had to invite everyone in with the highest standards. He waited quietly for the arrival of the other 4 king tiers. Outside in the mountains it was even more lively. Countless young warriors were walking around. Some were exchanging pointers, some were chatting, some were laughing, some were drinking. The atmosphere was very jubilant. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. "Look, young Master Anil is here." It was unknown who shouted, but everyone immediately stopped in their tracks and raised their heads to look forward. The 4 young masters of the Martial Heaven continent, young Master Lingfeng, young Master Anil, young Master Qilin, and young Master Treading Moon. These were the top 4 people in the younger generation. However, young Master Lingfeng had already been killed by Lin Xian. So now there were only 3 young masters left in the Sky Martial continent. And young Master Anil of the Merry Woods was one of them. Sure enough, in the next moment the crowd dispersed. A youth in white slowly walked over. He held a fan in his hand and his expression was extremely carefree. Around him there were a few elders. Their auras were extremely powerful. When their gazes moved, even the void trembled slightly. Young Master Anil's arrival immediately caused a group of warriors to be excited. They all surrounded young Master Anil. That scene was extremely spectacular. Indeed, these people were originally the heroes of the younger generation. But ever since young Master Anil arrived, it was as if everyone's radiance had disappeared. And young Master Anil became the only one in everyone's eyes. Everyone need not be reserved. Just act as usual. Young Master Anil gently fanned himself and said with a smile. Different from young Master Lingfeng's arrogance, young Master Anil had a smile on his face from start to finish. His mood was carefree and did not seem to have any arrogance. This made everyone slightly relieved. At least the other party did not put on an overbearing appearance. But at this moment someone exclaimed, "Look, it's young Master Qilin." Everyone was shocked again and turned their heads. At the back another group of people walked over. The person in front was tall and straight. His face was handsome and his aura was powerful. He was not any weaker than young Master Anil. He was young Master Qilin of the Shen family. This young Master Qilin's temper was not as good as young Master Anil's. His face was incomparably cold and had a trace of arrogance. He did not put the surrounding people in his eyes. Looking at him, his personality was somewhat similar to that of the dead young Master Lingfeng. "Brother Shen, long time no see." Young Master Anil fanned himself as he looked at young Master Qilin and said with a chuckle, "Humph, don't pretend to be ignorant. Last time you snatched 3 of my spirit veins. How do you want to settle this debt?" The moment young Master Qilin came up, he displayed an overbearing aura. Even when facing young Master Anil, he did not back down. "Brother Shen's words are incorrect. Those 3 spirit veins were originally discovered by my Merry Woods. How can it be said that I snatched them from your hands?" Young Master Anil said with a smile. "Less nonsense. No matter what you say, this matter will not end like this. Wait until after this banquet. I want to have a good exchange with you. I want to see what kind of breakthrough your cultivation has recently. You actually dare to touch the things that I fancy. Alright, if you want to exchange pointers, then I will naturally accompany you." Young Master Anil was still smiling, but there was an additional trace of sharpness in his eyes. Seeing 2 young masters whose names shook the continent competing, the other martial artists did not dare to speak and could only listen quietly. They understood this matter very well in their hearts. Although the 2 of them were peak prodigies, the family forces that they represented were different. It was very normal for there to be friction between them. However, they did not expect that young Master Qilin would actually want to fight with young Master Anil. Needless to say, this would be another fierce battle. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.